All right, guys, welcome back to the relaunch of the usual Saturday live show. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, and then we were playing in the middle of playing a clip, and my son woke up and proceeds to throw up everywhere. So I had to shut everything down. And of course, attend to that, but he was fine and stuff, of course. And, but we're ready to go on a Sunday, which is feels a little weird, but that's okay. We're gonna zip through what we need to show, and maybe a blessing in disguise actually, because new content has been uploaded to this show. So actually, this show is actually even more jam packed. Of course. The live update from the members in the field, of course, didn't happen either because the show got shut down. But the report back from Tyler and James from in the field was pretty much just rain and stuff. No definitive activity, of course, on their end. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but it does happen. So, and I have the last clip for today. And we have, like I said, the extra day actually allowed me to get more videos uploaded. And it's actually pretty interesting because we have a new subject that we will be looking at. And we have two special features because of this rescheduling. So you guys are actually getting a better show because of it. And with the technical issues from the last show and just how everything went, I took that off YouTube. We're just going to redo this one. But I am excited. We do have a pretty interesting show. So we're going to jump through these first couple videos of Mr. Peter Kane, the president of the Cryptids Society. And we need to salute our president as he is the master of all knowledge. And so let's hear it from him first.
People get confused between goblins and ghouls. Just because it begins with a G doesn't mean it's the same thing. This is so clearly not a goblin. That's a ghoul. And you would want to run as fast.
You would want to run as fast as you can. Yeah, obviously, he's back at it again. He's always been at it. instead of doing the dead Bigfoot frozen body, he's making commentary on anything and everything. It's actually pretty hilarious, and what he's actually claiming to be real cryptids. Obviously, this is a small person with some type of dwarf syndrome, as you can see with the hips issues and stuff. That's certainly not any living creature that is mobile and could mess you up or anything like that. Why you would run? If you run, you could definitely get away. But on a serious note, serious question: do you think there is less activity when inclement weather is around? I think. Well, there's only less activity in that kind of weather because there's no people going out in that weather and stuff. So when it's raining and stuff, there's less activity because there's no one out there during the crappy weather to actually have encounters and stuff. In my opinion, when it's raining out, when it's snowing out, snowstorms or rainstorms and stuff, is when they're actually in overdrive. In my opinion, because there's less people out there. So it gives them more opportunity to pretty much just do what they want, be a little bit more vocal. The rain kind of dampens the sound and stuff. They can be a little bit more vocal. Only the hardcore people are actually in the woods. And depending on the season, hunters obviously will be out in the weather, no matter if it's raining or blizzard or whatever. So, but in other months and stuff, during summer, spring and stuff, or early or end of winter, when there's not really a deer season, not as many hunters are out. The reason why there's less activity on our end is because there's no one actually out there. And then so it should be, a lot more people should go out there when it's crappy, when it's raining and stuff, and it's, a little drizzle to the downpour, and you actually have the rain gear and waterproof cameras like a GoPro. Simple GoPros, Hero Blacks are waterproof, and you can shoot out in the rain. So, all right, so let's jump right back into the comedy fest with.
I'm Peter Kane, president of the Cryptids Society. When I see this small hand poking out, I know right away what this is. I'm also president of the Gremlin Society. That is
Yes, and obviously, this is, to me, this is hilarious, and some people actually are eating it up. Some people on some of the other videos are more foolish. This is obviously a mouse. It's a rat. I mean, come on, guys. I crop zoomed it in. It's like a little mouse nose, little mouse hands. Come on. But he actually has a lot of videos of him commenting and utter nonsense on puppies that he's like, they're robot dogs from Japan. And a couple, they're like French bulldogs or something, the little small French bulldogs, I believe. He says they're robots and stuff from Japan. It's hilarious, actually. So definitely wanted to bring him up because he's hoaxed this frozen Bigfoot body on display, and he chops it up and starts talking about all the different parts. Obvious hoax, obvious, and history of that many people have already gone through and stuff. But some of the newer stuff he's creeped onto and heading into 2024 with is that, and this, I got to give him props though. He definitely is able to. You guys see it here. Do push-ups with massive chains, and I actually don't have this other video set up, but I was showing this weightlifting woman with 40 pounds of chain on the dumbbell, and we were going to compare it to him, and basically the smallest amount of chains that he has would equal 45 pounds at least. And then you add the bigger pounds, the bigger chains of the hooks, and then you're looking at 100, 150 pounds. And the way that it comes off of him right now, as you'll see, is hilarious. And I think it defies the physics of chains that are truly that massive. Anyone who's actually worked in the trade industry would know real chains with real weight can cause some real damage when you fling them about and you have them on, and there's no dust that flies off. There's no actual like. I mean, if that chain smacks you on your toe and stuff, it's gonna hurt. And he's just flinging them off, and if animals around, they crush and kill, and obviously he's perfecting props and stuff. And he has a little bit of animatronic stuff that he's shows on his dog training channel is what he's kind of named it and geared his channel towards and stuff. But you heard it from himself. He's the president of the Cryptid Society, so I do give him respect. He can pull off at least 2 front-handed pull-ups, which I would have to say 90% of the cryptid community, among the men, I'm going to pick on the men, especially who go out there and think they're really badass. I would say can't even do that. So at least he got that going for him. Props to him, because that's that actually shows some effort, even though you're faking it with the chains. I'm excited. I'm excited for what we have to show here in a little bit as we get towards everything. We're going to showcase this, which is we did on the other show a little bit. And of course, these images are from a recent hike in central Alabama. As we were walking this trail, I felt something looking at us, and I snapped these 2 photos back to back. It's a long story, but please tell me, what do you think? Please be kind. And of course, she draws a little outline image on that. She didn't really say that, but that's obviously what that is. Trying to show you there's a face in there. And if you really look in the middle behind the stick and the leaves in front, you would see a pattern of a face, or maybe a baboon or something like that. The face is all the way at the bottom, right there. You see the nose and the eyeballs, and so that's I guess what she's getting at from kind of these photographs right here. And so that's as far away she is. You can see the grass. As everyone has been out in the wilderness, you kind of know what shrubs and grass and kind of random wildflowers look like, and about as tall as they get. They only get about a foot and a half, no more than 2 feet. So that thing's whatever she's taking pictures of is a foot and a half off the ground. And the thing is, you go out there and you have these feelings, and you especially the people who are not outdoors people, and they start feeling things, and they start snapping pictures, and they want to find Bigfoot because it's on their brain, and they will, and they'll find these faces. And didn't need to call out the individual because they're not really big fish, as we'll say, compared to these guys. And this is where we were about to get started and stuff before we had more technical issues and stuff. When you go live, anything can happen. This is not a pre-recorded, I can make sure everything's perfect. And this is live. Anything can happen. Emergencies, someone gets sick, something happens, that's the whole thing about being live and stuff, especially having guests or anyone else on. If you have other people on show and you watch shows, is you can interact with them live and stuff and see real responses. And I really believe that's the best. All right, so we're going to get super serious now, because from here on out, it is a little bit more serious and stuff. We got the Peter Kane out of our system, because that is just a comedy fest. It is hilarious. All right, so we are going to step into throwing darts at our favorite Squatch Watchers, because they are hilarious in what they do. They present themselves as experts, professionals, outdoorsmen, and really know what the heck they're doing. So let's take a look at super serious talk, and then let's review the evidence that they're so super serious about. And this particular dude, this guy, is my favorite character of the group so far. It's close. It's close, but this guy is definitely my favorite.
Hey everyone, Tate Fulbright with the Squatch Watchers here. We were sent an interesting video that's about 5 minutes long and we thought it'd be worth your time to look at. It looks to be about 3 or 4 forest creatures, wild, feral type creatures, Bigfoot juvenile if you will. But there looks to be about 3 or 4 in this camera shot, and it looks to be a trail camera that's just placed on a particular part of the wilderness and some old looking concrete buildings of some sort. But as you watch the video, you'll see 2 or 3 of them just crawling around, walking around, talking, rustling through the leaves. You'll see 1 or 2 of them beat this skinny little tree to a pulp and bend it completely over like we see out in the wilderness on our investigations. And then also, there looks to be a suspected 4th one that's walking behind the trail camera and mumbling and talking in some sort of language. Like I said, we thought this was very interesting footage. It is almost compelling footage for the community, and we thought we'd share it with y'all. And here it is. You let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon on some more investigations.
All right, you guys heard it there. Super serious, almost compelling evidence that they found the need to showcase, especially, and bring to the community, right? So what is it? What is it, right? Yeah, it must be pretty good. You see the super seriousness of my favorite character. And I'm impressed. I really am. I have to hand it off to these guys. They know, they have the keen sense of common sense and eyes and ears and understanding to spot compelling evidence for us to review and stuff. So let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. What is it? What is it? So wait a minute. We've already seen this. Wait a minute. This is not the most compelling evidence and stuff. This is the footage we showcased back in August. of the people over in like India or Indonesia or Malaysia, some country out there. You can actually, if you watch the full video, which you can hear some kind of dialect and stuff in the background. I thought the person was filming and stuff from my point of view, and the tree bending over and stuff is done by an invisible entity, right? Now it's done by a piece of string. So we've actually already gone through this. We've already gone through this and picked this video apart when this first surfaced in back in August and came to my attention. Apparently the Squatch Watchers are a little bit behind, but and they find this very compelling because the long version of the video is these things are jumping around and they're doing things that kids would do. Anyone who has kids and stuff would say, oh yeah, I remember when my kids have done those movements and that thing. There's nothing abnormal, certainly not incredible, crazy, but these are the things that blow the mind of the Squatch Watchers, and I find it amazing. And then we're going to show and look at their own evidence too. But I was taken back by the serious tone of it, and then of course the video is of this, and these are people dressed up and crawling on their hands and knees. I mean, look at that; it's on their hands and knees, and a string is being pulled on the tree. And there's nothing about this full video that's floating around that needs to be drawn to our attention and stuff. It is hilarious that they thought any different than the fact they had to make a whole video being super serious about it. Shows, I think, their lack of common sense, the lack of observation skills, right? Or I think they're just sellouts, and anything and everything that looks good enough for them to be passable is going to be garbage fed through all of their fans and regurgitated as, oh my god, this video is pretty good and stuff, blah 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 blah. Now this video, so as you're viewing it live on here, is going to be actually degraded and stuff. So if you go watch the original video on YouTube and stuff, you should actually have a little bit more detail. and stuff. Of course, obviously it'll be a more fuller screen and stuff. And you will actually see it's pretty pathetic and stuff, even if you wanted and needed more detail. We've already gone through that back in August, and a little bit more in depth, as that was one of our featured videos, and that was making its rounds at that time. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious that we see this. Let's hear it again from him. Let's hear it. The super serious tone. Let's take it for what it is.
Hey everyone, Tate Fulbright with the Squatch Watchers here. We were sent an interesting video that's about 5 minutes long, and we thought it'd be worth your time to look at. It looks to be about 3 or 4 forest creatures, wild, feral type creatures, Bigfoot juvenile, if you will. But there looks to be about 3 or 4 in this camera shot, and it looks to be a trail camera that's just placed on a particular part of the wilderness and some old looking concrete buildings of some sort. But as you watch the video, you'll see 2 or 3 of them just crawling around, walking around, talking, rustling through the leaves. You'll see 1 or 2 of them beat this skinny little tree to a pulp and bend it completely over, like we see out in the wilderness on our investigations. And then also, there looks to be a suspected 4th one that's walking behind the trail camera and mumbling and talking in some sort of language. Like I said, we thought this was very interesting footage. It is almost compelling footage for the community, and we thought we'd share it with y'all. And here it is. You let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon on some more investigations.
Right. So very compelling evidence, and the whole they're beating up this tree right here, that little skinny little thing. They don't beat up anything. The only thing I've seen when I was scouring through to show it to you guys back in August was them spinning around, and they jump off the concrete, which, you know, what is whatever type of building or something. And I took this as, could be in India. This could be over in Southeast Asia, some type of country like Malaysia, closer around there. From what I heard, if you watch the longer video, not on their channel, of the dialect and stuff, that you can hear someone spoke some type of language. And it's not the growl and grunts video that you get from them, but it's not compelling. Either beating up that tree right there, and then pulling it down with string. Like it's kind of laughable, honestly. But you see the super serious, like, takes a breath, sits down, like, whoa, man, whoa. I took a step back, like, whoa, okay, like I'm getting ready for something epic. So it's kind of like a character play thing. This is like hilarious. That is me. The little pink bow ties me. Any little stickers and stuff is mine for copyright purposes. All this is educational and stuff. We're making commentary. This is showcasing news related information to the community, and of course this is educational, the purpose of showing exposing this hoaxer mindset and the people and character types behind these types of shenanigans that is plaguing our community, and that we need to figure out and strive to provide solutions and stuff. So I add certain things to some of these videos and stuff to help fight the copyright issues that might arise if some of these people get butthurt, but don't matter, because commentary and educational stuff is okay. And it's news related, of course. I'm spreading this news related information to the community of people who seem to be interested. So it all helps with copyright stuff that sometimes plagues other channels. I haven't actually had any issues and stuff in a long time, but we will definitely see stuff as the more stuff we do. All right, but so yeah, super serious. I had to add the bow tie because I almost put a cigarette and stuff, but I thought that was going to be a little bit too much and take away from his mannerisms, his body language and stuff. If you watch their body language, especially that character, sometimes they they slip up and they smile and they just can't help themselves. But let's look at some evidence from them. So this is some actual evidence from their own findings, their own words and stuff, and we're gonna take a look and dissect it a little bit, shall we?
You can tell right here. There's not been any human traffic through here. These are only one set of prints, spaced out babies, juvenile, and it goes through, takes a cut, goes through there. It's like it almost come through the woods, like its parents took that trail. The juvenile come over here for safety and come out and met them on this side of the trail. And there's a separate trail through there. Wow. If you don't mind real quick, let me see the camera. I'm gonna follow that trail if I can see through there. Thank you. Okay, so we're right here, and then it takes a sharp turn into the woods. It's like it was like wandering at me. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna go through here. Let's see if I can see where they end up. You can tell right here. There's not been any human.
Oh, we can tell right here. And the Bigfoot juvenile, the parents went this way, and here, let me get that camera. Get in there, Johnny boy. I that's not his name and stuff, but he reminds me of that character type. I don't know, man, but like, so you heard from themselves. Should we play it again? You know, juvenile trackway. They're in there, kung fuing, going through, dissecting these tracks, going in deep. I'm sure there's more, right? There's always more from these guys. So let's dissect these actual tracks that we can see from the little camera work that doesn't show the actual tracks at all. Just filming and moving and stuff. They don't really actually look and study and categorize each and every track, right? With individual pictures of what every single track looks like. All right, so here is one of the tracks, and here you can see with almost looks like hoof markings in there. You know, well, there's three. There's me. So let's look at the other one. It's still a juvenile. So we have another one, and it's not looking too good, but it still could be a juvenile. So here we have another one with two indentations in the very bottom of it, which it looks like a hoof, but let's just keep pushing the narrative. So here we have again. Now here is a really good definition of a deer hoof, right? It looks like hoof tracks to me, but that's still to them not a deer. It's juvenile Bigfoot. Here's the other juvenile Bigfoot track, which you can see in the very bottom. It's clearly been pressed down by a creature of sizable weight, right? 100 pounds, 150 pounds. Right, 75 pounds. Right, you see all the obviously the two indentations right there. That is not a deer. Obviously, not a deer. And obviously, these tracks have been degraded and stuff in the weather, which they pointed out in some other tracks, which we're not showcasing. But juvenile track, obviously, and they walked up there. They walked around. Right, they're gonna look. We're gonna look at all the tracks that we can see. And, you can see how they're very circle-like, almost very small, right? But here we have a really good one. We have a really deformed, shaped one on the right, and it looks like two deer indentations on the left right there, which are supposedly in that circle at the very end of the clip that he walks up to. And of course, this is where the juvenile departed from the parents that went this way, and for some reason... these are the expert trackers, experts in the field that are growing their channel massively, which is good for them and stuff. They actually, if I guess went out there and did some kung fu judo and picked up rocks and play that clip right now, pick up a rock and throw it on the hill and film myself doing it, and then put a little caption and say, "Did Bigfoot distract us?" And I guess people on the mass level don't understand what the heck they're viewing, and like and subscribe, and heck yeah, boys, get it done. And that's probably true. And you know what the problem is? The problem is, if you are doing this for long enough, it's hard. You go through plateaus of issues of nothing fucking happens out there. And, you want to grow a channel, you want stuff to happen. And if you're a content creator, right? Content creator, you need content, right? And how do you make content? Well, you brainstorm it up and you make it happen and you create it. It's a little bit different than a Bigfoot researcher trying to capture evidence and observation of real stuff that's actually happening out there. That's not content creation, where I can pump out videos and do this and do that and have good catchy thumbnails and a story. I could take everything that I put onto this podcast and turn it into 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos, 2-minute videos. And honestly, and just put some thumbnails and some AI images and stuff. And I bet my channel would blow up a heck of a lot more. But not about content creation, unlike them, where you need more and 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 more. You have to keep creating and it's you're creating stuff. So when you're like, oh, we're gonna go out in the woods, we're gonna shoot this, and you know how you make documentaries and stuff. Go out there, we're gonna shoot these kind of sceneries. We need some B-roll footage. We need shots of us going this way, shots of us going this way. Night stuff. We need some night shots of us going doing this and this, whether stuff happens or not. And then we're going to put it together and, we'll slap some stories and some narratives on it and patch it together. And, it does sell. It is really good and stuff. But technically, if nothing happens and, you go out there having fun and stuff, it's cool. It's all good and stuff. But like, it's a lot more easy to keep doing that and just content creator instead of only showing real evidence, only trying to strive to showcase real evidence and real encounters and stuff. That's a little bit different. And it's harder and it doesn't happen as much. So your content, is sparse in between and stuff. It's not as, we need this engine, this machine to keep pumping out stuff, to keep pumping these views, to keep getting these subscribers and stuff. You keep pumping it out. You see these channels, story channels, they pumping out all these, because it is making money and stuff on, eventually on higher levels. And Squatch Watchers are definitely making their money. So we can go through and look at the tracks again if you guys want to. It's pretty obvious that these are, in my opinion, based on what I see here, are most likely caused by deer and other small animals that have gone through this little area right next to a parking lot. And these good old boys just can't help themselves, in my opinion, but fabricate what they are seeing and make it a storytelling fantasy LARP and stuff. I don't think, it's who knows and stuff if they actually believe Bigfoot's real and stuff. So, or they're out there and they just don't really know anything from anything. They don't know anything, right? Because we've already exposed them in audio that they've got that is coyote, that they on live video are kind of smirking and smiling like, oh, it is Bigfoot. They know it's coyote. Got them on video of them hearing an owl, most common owl call that you could probably hear out there. One of them, top 5. Smiling, trying not to smirk and say, oh, it's Bigfoot yelling at us to get off their land, I think is the caption. And it's laughable. And this is the same thing. So when we're out here, there's no snow and stuff where I'm at right now. It's kind of sucky. It sucks a lot, actually, because I'm missing out potential tracks and real trackways, not small game animals hopping and leaping and making trackways that a lot of people are going to post. So be on the lookout for stuff that is natural and people are going to post as Bigfoot. You're going to see it in all these trackways, and there's not one of them that are going to go to 5 tracks and look into the bottom of it and see what's at the bottom of it and go to the next track and see what's the bottom of that and go to the next track. Not one of the pictures of all these trackways that are going to come out, not one that's going to investigate. You're going to take a picture of one track and then they'll take a picture of the trackway. Call it good. That's all you need, baby. Because they ain't really investigating, or they know what it is. They're fabricating and stuff, or, they're really not a real researcher, right? Content creation. We've gone through the various reasons of people hoaxing on this channel for a lot of reasons. The Squatch Watchers, these good old boys, are definitely doing it for the moolah and money and fame and reputation. I'm sure they get, and they've been invited at conferences and stuff like that, spreading misinformation, false narratives, false information. Same as some of these other individuals and videos we're about to get into, which is even more better. So let's take a look at our old friend real quick. This is a quick little snippet of a good old boy that I haven't seen and heard in a while, but I came across the post. And let's get a kind of an update. I'm not sure exactly. Let's play this real quick. All right, so this is from Mr. Johnson, and of course, Mr. Zorth comes to our bedroom or whatever. Also, he asked us to come outside to the Woodpile tomorrow night, which is not tonight because they're having a meeting. Immediately, I grabbed my cell phone. I looked up the weather tonight, which is raining and blah blah blah. I didn't read it fast enough, guys. In the rain, there was a ton more Zenu everywhere. I was asked to play 3 Christian songs with a speaker and portable playing the music. They all circled us, hands. They put their hands on our hands, and we all prayed. We prayed for 5 minutes, and they were approached by the woodpile. Sorth informed us. Of course, this is more Matthew Johnson nonsense, where he said, "Azorth, there's a 100% chance of rain tomorrow. I don't like the dark, cold, rainy nights." And then I'm guessing his wife threw me under the bus, saying, "I'll be there." I said, "Fine, I'll be there too." Of course, this is Zorth coming into their home where brains and all this, and then they go to the woodpile, and Zorth informs us that change is coming soon, and we will help you through it. The beginning will be challenging, but the end will be glorious. Of course, God is good, is what Zorth is quoted saying. So I kind of skipped through that to make sure I kind of got everything. But you got pretty much the gist of it. So we bring up this guy because there are some issues when people are still following this guy, and he's had some brain issues, and he's a little mental, and he's convinced people. I think people know some of the stories to get off medication, and Zorth healing this and dimensional portal machines, and this. What if he is being spoke to by an entity that is not Bigfoot, obviously not Zorth, but could be more paranormal and stuff, and it'd be a little weird and stuff. Yeah, obviously believes it, and he changed his whole life for it. So I seen that and stuff and got reminded of the whole, he's still pretty much doing the same thing as much as I expected. So as we wash our hands of that, check the comment, which is always good, from Mr. Robert Dandovan. In a future video, you can check out this video, High-Level Bigfoot Activity. Part 1, Squatch Watchers 211, starting about 6 minutes and 5 seconds. There's eye shine or firefly. Yeah, on some of their stuff, they have like deer eye shine I've seen. And there's this one video of them chasing dog man, and it looks like they get deer or something in the background. They really start reacting. And there's other stuff going on, and some one of the dudes trying to get them to like, oh yeah, there's something being thrown here, and then they're all like, oh, there's something happening right here, and they focus on that. It's really easy to manipulate what's going on through storytelling, through acting, really, or just if something actually happens, which, you know, they hear animals or get eye shine, they really play off of it. And it's most likely common animals. All right, so let's get into some actual better stuff. And so this hoax is one that you guys might not have known about. This is from an individual that you guys might know about, though. And I think you might be surprised. I don't know. This came out about 3 years ago, I think. We'll have the dates here. But a couple years ago. And basically, we have this individual right here, and we'll show the evidence first, of course, because I like the evidence and stuff. He on a live video, live broadcast, he is reported to have got attacked by a Sasquatch, and we see it right there, obviously. And it's real, right? Obviously, we see it right here. This isn't a hoax. I was just lying and joking. You know, this is real, right? This obviously this dude has some type of markings and stuff. It looks like a little beat up, and so, you know, it's real and stuff. So this was done on a live show and stuff. So this actually comes from C. Wayne Thoreau. And he is a pretty awesome dude. And this is back in the day when he was doing his Manimal podcasting and stuff. Now he does the Paranormal Odyssey lives and stuff like that. And he does that with Sasquatch Odyssey stuff. But back in the day, you know, this is some of the stuff that he had on the live shows, and they were going out in the field, and you know, seeing this, actually was watching this live and stuff, and you know, thought, you know, what the heck's going on here? And this is real deal stuff. Check the comment. So let's take a look. Let's actually watch and stuff the real deal stuff of this attack live.
Okay,
Daryl's getting
harm.
some. Hey,
Hello?
Greg, mute your mic, buddy.
All right.
I do have to say that Wayne is a awesome guy and stuff. You guys should tune into his shows and stuff like that, and take a look at some of the older shows. I've actually done an interview with him, and so.
Okay,
Daryl's getting
harm.
some. Hey,
Hello?
Greg, mute your mic, buddy.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh.
What? Hello? Okay, I see you. Come here. I see you. Hello?
Right back to Daryl.
Okay, I hear you. Come here.
You recording?
Daryl, what are you seeing and hearing?
Oh, hang on, Wayne. Hello? I mean you no harm. Oh, watch out!
What is that? Daryl. Wallace, can you get over there to where Daryl's at?
Okay.
Daryl.
Where y'all at?
Okay.
Where is he at?
Guys, this was not planned at all. This is not any kind of joke,
I'm
nothing
here.
staged.
And it was live. I was actually watching this and watched that part, and as all of us who was watching us live, and as you guys could see, frozen right there, the last image and stuff was something weird and stuff, and striking our attention of stuff. Of course, we tuned in and listened to figure out what was going on, and we're going to continue to proceed to view that now.
We just lost Daryl.
I'm at the tower. Daryl. Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Daryl's just popped back up, but Annette Alvey says she heard the growl. I heard something.
Tell Greg to get over here. They're way out in the field out here.
Greg, are you headed over there?
I'm coming, Daryl.
I don't know.
Pretty intense situation.
You know what?
He caught me, babe.
I'm getting the damn truck going down there lower. Fuck.
Right in the face.
Pardon my friend. Coming, Daryl. Hang on. It ain't that. I'm coming.
Can you see him, Wolf?
No. They're way out in the woods. I'm driving out there.
Daryl.
Okay.
Hang tight, Daryl. I'm coming.
Daryl.
I'm coming.
I see that. Come on.
I'm coming.
Come on, let's go.
Very intense situation when you have someone out in the field and stuff, and they're live, and all of a sudden they get attacked, and the camera gets shut off, and you can't get them on, and you got no response, and you have other people going out there for safety. That is a legit concern on almost every camp out or expedition. Like, legit stuff can happen and stuff, and in the moment and stuff, it definitely is. As you guys can hear, this is as it unfolded and stuff. I just broke it up a little bit, doing some commentary, but we got 3 more minutes, 2 more clips, and then
Daryl. There's something.
Hey, y'all, we're on our way. We're on our way. They're going to get to the tower. Yeah.
Daryl, what is that?
Hold on.
Derek and Greg, y'all mute your mics, please.
Hello?
Let's step over this log.
Walls and Greg, mute your mic.
I want to go home.
No, come on, let's go.
I want to go home.
Uh-huh.
Daryl, can you answer us, buddy?
Having trouble connecting, just not wanting to connect.
It's all right.
Hey.
Daryl, what happened?
Face and grab my shirt. I've got my shirt's torn and and it felt like it hit me hard. I'm sorry. Something got me big and upright. I got going with me now. I'm gonna get out of here. So hold on, I'm gonna yeah, I gotta get off for a sec. I'm just gonna mute this for a sec. Yeah.
Okay.
Down here.
You guys seen the red marking and stuff right there, obviously. Shirt torn up and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down here. Okay, I gotta get this thing back in my holster. Watch your step.
Y'all heard as much of that as I did. I couldn't make much out. He says something hit him, something grabbed his shirt, something large and upright. That's it. We've got it on film here, got it on camera, so we'll be able to go back and watch it and see exactly what happened. But y'all saw the same thing that I saw, and it looked like something happened.
All right, so that is what transpired live on video and stuff, and you guys actually seen the whole incident. I just cut it up for you, but basically that's what happened, of course. And you've seen the hand and stuff. So what was the aftermath of this? The aftermath obviously is we can examine the person. The person obviously has a pretty bad strike right there to the upper cheek. You see it is actually red and bruised right there, and contusion right there, a little bruising, little goose egg underneath the eye, and then I see a little bit different attack. So this was attack. He got something happened, reached out, and he got into a tussle and stuff with the supposed Sasquatch, and this is where it ripped its shirt off of him, and you can see the lines and the stuff. So this might have been taken shortly after, obviously when they got back and stuff. And then the hand that we seen, some of you guys, if you were paying attention, if you're watching him, there was a hand and it looked like it was on a shirt or something like that. And this is a picture of that. It's actually cropped and zoomed. So and you can that is the other picture and stuff, but this is so that is the hand that they at first were like, what the heck's going on, this guy, and you guys seen it, you guys heard it live on video, attacked and by something, by Sasquatch. This was actually hard for me, and is hard to find and stuff. Actually, I was surprised I actually was able to present it to you guys because of various reasons. But I watched this video live when it actually was going down and stuff, and had my suspicions and stuff, as I am a suspicious person, but thought like, holy shit, maybe something did happen, because I did watch it live and it just cut out with weird things. But long story short, when you really dive into these things, reality happens, and the reality exposes lies and exposes hoaxes, and this is a particular interesting hoax that you guys definitely probably don't know about. And so let's take a look from Wayne and stuff, because he's a great guy, and he was running with this guy, and he was doing some podcasting, and was doing outings and stuff with this individual in their group outings and stuff, and let me show this. Wayne's a really good guy. And so the videos from the battlefield last year have been removed from YouTube. It has become very clear that the events that took place that night were hoaxed by an ex-member of the Manimal Research. All contact with that person has stopped. And quite frankly, I'm ashamed to have once considered him a close friend. I regret deeply to have the help I gave him. The mental issues he has are extremely I have to do it again because I didn't do it. Didn't do it, space it out long enough. I didn't read fast enough. All contact with the person stopped. The mental issues he has are extremely severe. He desperately needs help. I see now he's manipulated. I see how easy it is to be manipulated by mentally ill people. I first received info from a member of this group out west and blew it off. I did not believe it. Not my buddy, not him. He would never hoax, fabricate Bigfoot experiences. I was very wrong. It pisses me off that he uses my group as a platform. The man never once came through any of the garbage. Came through with never the promises and garbage. And basically, you take screenshots from there. He is what is truly wrong with the community. An example of the kind of people, I would say, that continues to keep the subject from progressing. And if anyone comments his name, I won't deny it. If it's him, it's obviously Daryl. And I don't have his last name and stuff ready and stuff because he has some. I mean, I posted. You guys could find it and stuff. He's actually friends with quite a bit of people that I know. It's a little bit concerning. His channel name was. I don't have this information ready. I thought I debated on whether I should reveal his full name, but it's just Daryl. Let's just leave it at that. If you guys know who Daryl is, running with the Manimal group. Anyways, so the video was deleted from YouTube, but I have my ways and was able to procure it for you guys to be able to view and for us to look at and judge and stuff. Because let's take a look at this kind of mentally ill person that actually fabricated self-injury to on a live show to gather fans, to gather fame, to gather clout and stuff. And so this, I don't know what he did. You guys watched the live video, he did something to himself, right? He beat himself up and tried to present it off as the Sasquatch attacked him on live video. And I think it just is, it's interesting that StreamYard cut out the stream at a certain time. And like the last thing that you see is like the face, and then you see the hand. And we'll actually look at the hand because I'll show you exactly what it is. We can easily see exactly what it is if we pay attention. And the stream cutting in and out at various times with these weird images left and stuff, it definitely helped his story at first. Of course, with Wayne and the crew he was running at the time and still is running with, upon investigating this person and the claim, the evidence, and the story, and reinvestigating it, because this is a very fucking serious thing. If someone got attacked by a Bigfoot out in the field with me, dude, I'd be like, they would be like, get the fuck away from me, stop bugging me, stop, you're I don't want to answer more questions. And eventually, pretty much what happened here, I'm guessing, the lies got exposed, the mentally ill issues got exposed, severe, obviously. You can see here, severe issues and extreme lengths that some people in our community, some hoaxers, will hoax to get whatever their brain can comprehend that they're actually going to get value from by doing this stuff. So this is at the far extreme end of what hoaxing could go to, of self-injury, fake attacks, which we've already, the Squatch Watchers have one where a woman got, a rock thrown at her eyeball, a pebble hit me. It looks red. So some individuals will fake and hoax injuries and stuff. And we're going to take a look at this hand here in a second. This is pretty extreme. You see the marks on him is, pretty good, pretty balled up. You got to have some force of him. And I don't know exactly what happened of what he actually did to himself, but it looks like he had to sustained actual injury to get actual injury. So it's pretty extreme, pretty out there, pretty mentally ill. And this is why, when we are exposing this sort of stuff, these sort of people, we have to understand that this is a community, and our community has some dark places in it. And then it's not always this either. It's not always an individual who, kind of, I would say, maybe fits the part where you're like, oh, I see it now and stuff, where you have the Sasquatch watchers who could be mentally ill like this and believe everything that they are experiencing is a Sasquatch, and or when you get your facts mixed up as your facts are facts and stuff like that, you're dealing with people who, when their world crumbles or breaks down, you can have all sorts of issues. He beat him up. Yep. We just went through the videos of him on a live stream, and we're going to take a look at the hand right now. But we went through the videos of him on a live stream being attacked by a Sasquatch, sustaining these injuries, which got exposed as he has severe mentally ill issues. And the reason why I'm showing this is because this is the dark shadows of our community. There are people like this who maybe won't go, it will go this far. And I would say 99, maybe 90%, 99.99% of people would never go to this far, the length of hoaxing and self-injury. But there certainly, obviously, is a very small percentage. If one person will do it, obviously there potentially are more people who will do it, or, let's say just fabricate stuff and will pawn it off, whether they believe it or not, to gain clout, to gain popularity, whatever it is, to fill the niche that they need to be filled. So let's take a look at this hand real quick as and we'll take a look at Wayne's response in all this, because he is a great guy, very trustworthy guy, and he was deceived and stuff, and it opened his eyes of how it can happen to you guys, of people, you put your trust in the people you take out in the field with, and when they start saying, oh yeah, it didn't have to be at that extreme level, getting beat up, but like, oh, a rock got thrown this way, I heard some calls, hey, come look at this track over here, it looks pretty weird, and then, oh yeah, I kind of see that you, and Daryl would point out the features of the track. Oh yeah, I see the toes and stuff, and that could influence other people into thinking that's a real track. And now bam, let's show it as evidence. And now, oh yeah, we found a Bigfoot track based off that mentally ill person's information and perception, and it can easily influence and influence the whole expedition into finding stuff that is not real, finding fantasy, indulging in their fantasies, basically. Whether or not the person would actually say, laugh on the inside as, oh, I don't, this is fake. I didn't really think this was real. But since everyone thinks it's real, I mean, it's real, right? Or, they honestly are delusional enough to believe that any random impression in the ground is Bigfoot. And when they convince everyone that it is Bigfoot, and they're all agreeing that then it just feeds into the delusion, right? So there's so many possibilities when it comes to people and the reasoning for trying to hoax stuff. But I can tell you, when you have people like this in your group and you're trying to trust them to be honest and have integrity with evidence, it's not going to happen. And so when it comes to professionalism, when you're out there, it's honest professionalism and true integrity, because you can steer people, into thinking things that you want them to think, or false information, and then you have a false evidence, and then it gets passed off as this, and then it's fake. And so I want to cement that we need to guard against people who you allow to go out with you, to vet them and check them. And it might take a couple times of being out in the field and to experience how they are, because sometimes people, like in the beginning, might have honest integrity, and then they hit a plateau of maybe nothing happens. They're not getting evidence. There's no content creation happening, right? We need content. There's nothing happening. And then they begin to, well, I think this is a track, fabricating a little bit, whether, and it starts little, well, it could be a track. I think it is a track, even though in the inside they know it's not a track, and they need content. And it's a very fine line to walk if you honestly want to have integrity about finding real deal evidence, real deal encounters, and being out there and what you really experience and I want to get down to the very bottom of it. I don't want to be fooled. I don't want bullshit. I don't half-ass shit. Like, I want real stuff. So we have to be on guard, because I've had people in my group. I've been with people that have experienced this sort of stuff where, it's false, delusional stuff happening, or they're trying to steer an investigation. It's a very good example is, we're off in the woods doing this, and they're at camp, and I hear a bunch of stuff happening at camp. Everyone come back to camp because there's a bunch of stuff happening. And then now we pull all resources out of the woods, out of better areas, and go back to camp where nothing was actually happening. And now we're spinning in circles around camp looking for Bigfoot or anything that was happening that never happened. And you're wasting your resources, wasting your effort, wasting potential in the other areas that you already planned to go. And so you have to be on guard with individuals who are like this. And you might be a legit group. And it only takes one person to fabricate stuff of, there's stuff's happening around me. Everyone, come on, come back this way, come this way. And then it gets turned into like I said, it turns into basically a circus, a runaround circus of, never ending influence of false information. And trust me, I've been there, done that. I've experienced it, or, you have suspicion of it. I don't like that. That's why I like to go, you have to read people. And that's what's unfortunate about our community. It's filled with amazing people, but, people are people, and people lie, people fabricate stuff, as we're going to continue to showcase stuff. And so our final showcase of tonight is a very good old boy that I'm not even going to give any introductions. I'm just going to play a video and have you guys just I do need to do one last thing though while we're playing this, which I can do. And so we're going to just take a look at this stuff right here. Take a look at this comment. That's exactly right. Bigfoot's not to blame. He was framed, man. He was framed. I see everyone in the house. Glad to have everyone. Everyone check out Sasquatch Secrets, Nikki's show. I popped in when I could at the end of the show, and it sounded from what I tuned into while working on today's show. Good content talking about the Bigfoot massacre, and I turned into, they were talking about filming and editing and resolution and different techniques, a little bit of that. Good programming that you all should check out. If you guys already didn't, I know some of you guys definitely were tuning in. I'm definitely going to be tuning in to watch that, rewatch that, and watch what I missed. All right, so let's do our grand finale, our special. See, this is what happens when you reschedule an event and stuff. We added more content, so let's do our special content for tonight.
So I wanted to design. In my research, I confirmed, I went to it's not real, to trying to debunk it, to it is real, to coming up with a way to bring to bring them out, which is single knock. That's what I used, and using single knock to solicit responses, to bring them in the area, to make observations, to listen to them knock, listen to what knocks they use in what situations, and really systematically approaching it with a scientific way to discern their behaviors and discern, anything I can glean from an encounter from them, and I didn't stop at single knock. I have an advanced knock system too that I use, and then I learned some of their vocals, and I learned how they use vocals, when they use vocals. Also, that's really in the works. I'm not, I have a rudimentary knowledge of knocks, but everything is very much different from geographic area to geographic area. I've met clans that don't know what a knock is, so there's a learning curve to it. But the vocals, I'm still working out, but I'm kind of getting an idea of what they're doing.
Now, speaking of vocals.
Oh, man, that's our special guest right there for tonight, Mr. Patrick Vaughn. Mr. Patrick Vaughn. Yep, good old boy right there, baby. And he, as you right there, developed his own knocking system. So this guy, I'm sure Nick, you could actually talk to us about him a little bit. And so could Brent and stuff. I don't know. He's not actually Brent's wasn't doing too good. Something happened to him. He was in the hospital or something. I'm gonna make mention of that. I just kind of popped in my head right now because I know he definitely would have some information to talk to with us about Mr. Patrick Vaughn, who came onto the scene about 3 years ago or more. I think more. But where I started paying attention to him is when he was running with some of the shows with on guest appearances on some of the shows like you just heard from here, basically on all the shows that I would say most of us would watch annually and stuff. And gave the story about basically we're not showcasing his original counter here, which is basically he got chased out of the woods by a female Sasquatch who sprinted up to him, right up to his back, and then was like jumping in between trees as he ran away and stuff. And then he had 2 more encounters, and one was with his wife and his son. He claims his son, I believe, is what I heard. I have to rewatch it. I only watched it once for the information, but his son's seen something. But anyways, pet show mostly. But anyways, he was presenting a lot of stuff, and he actually was running with the crew down in Mississippi and stuff. I'm not going to name their names and stuff right now, but anyways, again, one of these individuals where, you think he's a good group because he's a 3rd generational, 1st generational, 2nd generational tracker, whatever it is, primitive skills and stuff, and talks a lot of stuff, and his stories and his counter that he told was very informative and hook, line, and sinker. I think a lot of people were open-minded to it. A lot of people had suspicions about it. I certainly had mine. And then in the end, of course, he came out as hoaxing stuff. I'm not exactly sure who exposed him first, but it's basically, I believe, his lies. So many lies to keep track of that you can't keep a story straight. And we're going to take a look at some stuff from him.
Set up this clip and tell us what was going on when you captured this audio.
Okay, so I completely respect my control group. From a scientific point, you have to have a control, then you have to have your experiments. Uh-huh. Now, I took what I learned from my control group, and I went and found others of that species to experiment with. But this night, I really wanted to run audio. And so I took this laptop, I put it on record, and I set it on the hood of my truck. I took my audio recorder and set it beside it, and they're both running, and I'm sitting, my tracking partner and I are sitting in the dark in front of my truck. And they did not like the technology in there. they got very gruff with me. I had little Sam come up and I don't know if the audio came out on this, but I tried. You can hear him out there go do on his chest, beating his chest, and he did that. Well, I'm not up on that kind of sound, so what I do is I recreate that with my knock sticks, on my knock sticks. Well, then I hear this yelling about 100 yards in front of me. It's running from my left to right, which I know to the right is their summer home, about another mile and a half back. But this little voice, and I know what it is because I've experienced 5 different times in 3 different states. I have heard juvenile yells, and so I hear this now, and what I'm saying is that it was yelling, and I went in and tracked the tracks. Okay, I confirmed what was there. And so when it's yelling out there in the dark, running from my left to right, I'm like, that's the little one out there. Little Sam beat his chest. I recreated with the knock sticks. This little one is freaked out and is running from left to right back to mama. Well, then I have a rock come and thrown, and it hits my recorder. I mean, literally hits my recorder, and it bounces across my hood. And I'm like, and I told them, we weren't there very long after that because, they just did not like the technology there. They felt disrespected for me to bring technology in there. So that is the night that this was caught.
Sounds like pretty good evidence, right? Sounds like a pretty good story. And we're going to take a look at this actual clip of this potential yelling and stuff. Since he's actually recorded it. I think only the one and only piece of evidence he's actually shown, because most of the time technology turned them off, and basically he wouldn't go out there and record anything. In all the fantastical interactions he started to have, he would not go out there and simply record, take pictures, and have video evidence of this stuff. So basically he get called out, and we're going to take a look at some of the evidence he did present one of the only times, because I'm always interested in the evidence people present. He doesn't show, or at least yet, I still have to watch this whole episode with these boys, the good old boys. We're going to take a look at the good old boys from the Beast Crew here too, because they kind of into the spreading of information that is definitely false, and they covering up of hoaxers, because some of the crew that they ran with, some of the women Sisters of the Moon that they've run with and stuff, got caught actually fabricating hoaxes and presenting evidence from Ron Moorhead, the Sierra Sounds, that claiming that it was their evidence that they recorded, and I believe claiming it was from potentially, I have to continue to do research and verify this, but potentially from expeditions and stuff held by the good old boys and stuff. They did do collaboration and stuff, and so we're going to take a look at some more hoaxers and stuff for more content right to next week. Honestly, it's and my favorite quote from let's take a look at this other video clip real quick, and then we'll talk about it some more.
Go ahead and play these vocalizations that Patrick captured. What was going through your mind when you saw that, Patrick, or heard that?
I was a little disturbed because that I disturbed their peace. You know, I disturbed her peace enough to make her scream. I disturbed little Sam's peace enough to make him beat his chest at me. And little Sasha, who's 20 yards away in the brush, is throwing a rock at me. Now, I'm having a passive aggressive encounter with my study group, which isn't good. You know, and so I shouldn't have gone in there with technology. But then again, I did catch little Samantha running and screaming because I did, I did go down there and track and confirm. That's one thing I like to do is I don't go out and have an experience and then go home. I go out and have an experience, and when they leave out the area, I click my light on and I go track where they were and confirm what it was. So,
wow,
that's Mississippi.
Wow. Yeah.
Set up this clip and tell us what was going.
Okay. I guess the good old boys and my favorite, Mr. Beast of the Woods, and my favorite quote from him from one of their outings is, I'll wait till everyone goes to sleep, and then I'll get up and I'll go out and do my research. And don't include anyone who actually paid fucking money to go out and research with you guys and do all the shit they actually came to do. Instead, you're going to wait till everyone goes to sleep, and then you're going to go out and do your thing instead of inviting people. I'll find that clip. I'll find it again, and I'm going to play it because I love it. It's my favorite clip from these guys. And a lot of people love them. A lot of people do. But I tell you what, my personal experience with Sawdust is that if you want to go to kindergartner school, preschool, Bigfooting class, he's your man. If you want to go out and have that outdoors and stuff, and go real slow, we'll go investigate. We're going to do it in a calm, respectful manner. If you want, we're in preschool Bigfoot learning 101, and we're going to go out there and have a good old time. And if you want to do that, he is definitely your man. And I invite all you guys to do that because that is about the pace and about what you can expect when you're in the field with him. And about as fast as he talks, never, And, I, on the 168, I was not impressed by this expert that, was supposed to be like, I'll get some of this stuff done because, I'm a team leader. And my big old idea is it's too hot. We got to sit at camp and talk about all my stories about previous expeditions about doing this and doing that and doing this. I ain't doing none of that here. No, I'm going to tell my stories. And my one thing is I'm going to go drive over here. I'll set up my little audio. And I'll go check on that. I'll go back to camp, relax, and then I'll, we'll set up another tent, another campsite, and we'll go over there, and then we'll go relax and go camping over there. And Bigfoot will come and do something instead of actually getting off your ass and do something. Well, they went out at night. I went with them one time at night, and I went real slow, and I heard potential stuff, and there was real stuff going on. But man, I tell you what, that definitely was not my pace, my level. Nope, I definitely did not want to be hooked up with him, leading anyone on any expedition. I felt like I was going at snail's space, which is good in some instances, but I'm not Bigfoot kindergartner 101 preschool. Do I want to listen to that type of information out in the field at nighttime? And I only have a week there in Florida, man. So, and that individual definitely got mad when he got mad and upset when, other people, I would just say other people in groups actually went out and did shit. and did it pretty good. But that's not here and there. But they do facilitate hoaxes and stuff. We're going to expose some of this stuff. And so these good old boys, and a lot of people like them. So I might get some heat for this. But my personal experiences is that this is con. This is con men. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. And so let's we can take a look at some of these sounds again. Let's just get it refreshed in our memory, and then we can take a look at some suspected coyotes that I think is what the sound is, because I actually have my own recordings, and there's particular coyote sounds that sound very similar than this. And now I don't think I included this. I think I meant to, but the good old boys saw this. Been doing this audio. They're audio experts, and they've been doing this for about 7 years. And that particular clip from Mr. Patrick Vaughn, they thought was pretty compelling. And, they definitely of an unknown animal. Their expert opinion and stuff. I think it's horseshit and stuff. And plus, when you actually look at their...
Go ahead and play this.
Take a look.
These vocalizations that Patrick captured.
All right. That's a coyote. Right? Oh, that's Bigfoot. That's coyote.
What was going through your...
All right, so we have that fresh in our mind and stuff of what it sounds like. Obviously, it was clearly a coyote in front first. Now, Sawdust and stuff claims that this was from an unknown animal, potentially in that range of the what humans can't do, which I haven't called bullshit. And I'm not trying to offend any other people and stuff like that, but I don't get a good feeling from those crew. And from what I've seen, experienced, and my personal gut feeling is telling me that they are con artists, and they are able to present and narrate and tell a good story and have a good time. They have a good show. They have fun. Okay, they are probably good old people, but the details of the information that they're putting out from the guests or the people they allow on their show to spread false information or false information, or the people who are hoaxing stuff are at their group outings, finding stuff. And it's like, this is, it's like, you guys know what's going on and don't really expose it. And it's like, I don't want to step on toes because we're all friends here now. It's all about content creation. And that's what it comes down to. It's all about content creation. So, your buddy or people get called out for hoaxing and fabricating, or taking Ron Moorhead's Sierra Sounds and playing them at conferences multiple times and claiming that you guys got them at an expedition. And then they're on your show. You guys are having a good old time and you're talking about what you guys did at your camp out and this and that. It's like, okay, you have no vetting system. You can't call it out because too much content, or it would expose your guys' potential evidence and expose your guys' camp out because it's all about false reality information instead of what's really going on and actually trying to find real evidence. So I personally got a bad vibe from meeting Sawdust personally, and ever since then, viewing their content and some of the stuff that they say and some of the stuff, it just, to me, it is con artist mentality, and certainly going to expose that. And we have one more clip loading and stuff, but it could have a whole nother show, potentially of Mr. Vaughn. I could scour and find more interviews of him telling fabrications and lies, and he on this particular interview, he does stumble a couple times and has to stop and think, figure out what to say by telling the story, which so I thought was pretty interesting. He's not as smooth and calm as collective, or he's putting on an act to seem like it's actually affecting him in this particular one. And the Sawdust Beast guys, oh boy, they ate it up and they roll with it like it's no issue. Everything is 100% true. And they verified these sounds and stuff. So we can actually take a look at some of my coyote sounds and some actual real interesting potential what the fuck is this sounds that I actually have. I think I have some potential wood knocks to show you guys of this same outing. So, I can show you some real normal animals, coyotes, that are very often heard. And I think I have some calls from the coyotes that match that same frequency range and signature. It almost looks about the same. So we will dive into that right now as I do this last little thing. And, okay, so I got to delete one more thing because I have too many videos. Let's take a look at this. Let me do this. Share the screen. All right, so share the audio, share the entire screen, pop up over to here, and I think you guys can see everything. I have to view my phone on YouTube without sound to make sure, but I'm sure you guys can see everything. As we're going to load up this last little video and take a look at audio. So right here we have a potential sound that is almost similar, and I'm using a different program than Sawdust. I don't know what program he uses, but I definitely don't trust his research capabilities when it comes to audio. But here is a clip of some audio that I captured a week or 2 weeks ago, of coyotes going off, and this particular lone call of a coyote that I think a lot of people could mistake for a Bigfoot call. A lot of people probably would. Certainly Sawdust did, and Mr. Patrick Vaughn would pass it off as Bigfoot, whether he knew it was coyote or not. So let's take a look at this. Let's see what you guys hear it okay? Of course, I'm using specialized headphones. Let's get some input. Let me make sure my volume on my computer is at 100%. I'm sure that's going to affect the sound quality. Oh, that is actually not the sound I wanted to play. That is actually something else. That's a sneak peek of something else. But here we have all these coyote sounds right here that you can plainly see in better detail. And these are packs of coyotes. And so these are normal sounds that we hear. And a little bit different than the signature we had with Mr. Patrick. But I'm going to skip around the video and find a more better match here in a second. All right, so right here, the first few that we've seen, very similar canine sound as what Mr. Patrick is passing off as Sasquatch. Of course, I don't believe anything he actually showcased because he was proven to be a liar and fabricated, and everything he got was never Sasquatch. So there's a lot going on in this piece of audio. We do have Some interesting stuff, which you guys kind of actually already heard. And we're actually going to take a look at why that's different sound than these coyotes. So this is this is actually from a active area and stuff. Very active with coyotes and stuff. Why is my screen not? It's doing the thing again where it's not putting everything into where it needs to be for some reason. It's not fitting it all. Let's do that. It's not fitting it all on the screen where I can see it. So we have all this. These are coyotes and stuff going out, I believe. Yeah, so this is kind of like what we see here. Now I zoomed in. It's going to distort it a little bit, but this is kind of like what we've seen with Patrick. Patrick's sound was more fuller. Here we have these dots right here and right here, which is what more we hear. We hear background noises of all these other signatures. You can see all these lines and stuff. They look different than these. These spikes at the very bottom are wind spikes. But the background noises that looks like little squiggles of lines, not what's up here. This is the background noise. Right here and stuff, those squiggles are different coyotes in the background. But this solid line of this dot, 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 and what's that forms is actually similar to what Patrick showed. And you can hear the background of ooh, sounding ghost-like and stuff. And people would pass off as Sasquatch. Take a look if... So let's try to find a better one. I thought I had a better one lined up. This is all coyotes and stuff right here. This is all the yipping and different signatures, and it's beautiful. It definitely pops up. You see how it pops up from the background, and it might be a little hard to see and stuff, especially if you have it zoomed in and stuff. So here we have some different stuff that I believe is, I think that's me calling, but right here, you can see when we zoom in, it does impact the view. We can see more, but when we super inflate it and stuff, you see the lines and how it's more dense and stuff, meaning more louder and stuff. But we see all these squiggles up here. We see lines going down here, these little subtle lines. These are other background coyotes making noises at the same time. And so when you do, and sometimes when you're looking at this stuff, you do have, when you're looking into the sea of this noise, all these pixelization dots, you are trying to find patterns of sound that stand out. And sometimes the background noise and very quiet noises sometimes are hard to pick out. So it takes a lot of effort to find real evidence and stuff. And you have to listen to all this too to find the background noise. And different programs do different stuff. But let's take a look. Some of this you see right here, these calls right here where they're solid lines like that. In my opinion, are more typical coyote sounds of what Patrick tried to pass off and what Sawdust in his research for 7 years couldn't distinguish as normal everyday wildlife sounds and said it was from an unknown animal in his expert opinion. Okay, well, let's try to prove him wrong. All right, so that first call right here, very similar structure and sounding and almost frequency range. I know it's a little hard to see on the scale of Sawdust was using, but on the side instead of the frequency range is about the same. Now, interesting thing about this coyote sounds, it goes, and it might be two different coyotes too, but it does seem to change up and down and stuff in its vocals. So I definitely think it is an interesting sound. It is definitely a coyote. It's not Bigfoot, but we do see similar signatures of what Patrick sounded like. Now, it is interesting because you see how here at the bottom and here at the top, this is actually, I believe, an echo of this. You see the intensity of this. So it's flat like this, and then all of a sudden you have this drop, and then it changes and stuff. So coyotes can change their pitches and the sounds of their calls, as we can demonstrate here. You know, Jeff is always talking about how coyotes can go like O's to O's or one way or another, and this is an example of that. I think this would be a good example to have Jeff explaining the what coyotes can and cannot do, because this is an example of that change of pitch. Like O's to O's is what it sounds like. So that's actually an example of what Jeff has always been talking about. If you guys have been catching those kind of comments, Jeff from Pine Island Research. So there's a lot of sounds that coyotes make. There are a lot of sounds that happens in the wilderness that people can pass off as Sasquatch. Now, here are some real Sasquatch vocals that I'll let you guys in on. Be careful, it might be loud. Real Sasquatch, no, those are my vocals and stuff. That's me call blasting. I do not have the example of the Ohio call able to show you guys. I don't know exactly what it sounds like, but that was an example of what my call would look like on the spectrogram. There we go. So, and we'll take a scoop back so you guys can see that how my human call, and you see the echo on top and the main call signature and the slight echo right here, and right here you barely see it right there, but you can see it barely right there, right here, actually sets off these coyotes. You can see I actually set off these coyotes right here. Of course, so when people make calls and they're all like, yeah, I've got a response and I heard something weird stuff. Yeah, because there's animals that will respond to your calls, and I can show that right here. So we'll play this right here, the signature. This is wind. And this is kind of what Patrick sounds like also. It's a lone coyote response call, what you will typically hear from a single coyote. And it is at a higher frequency range, you see right here. It might be hard for you guys to hear. I could amplify that, no problem, but you can see the signature right there of the response from a lone coyote, which then gravitates towards the pack of coyotes going off. And of course, there was a pack of coyotes going off before I made the call, and I believe they went off because I made the call. Responding to me, obviously we have a pack of coyotes. I make my call. There's a response right here, right there. You can barely see it, and then we have the same pack going off. And then it seemed like they split off, and we have some signature sounds of some potential lone coyotes. And then there's some potential wood knocks. We have potential weird maybe vocals or rare coyote calls, because we do know coyotes are in the area. but we do actually have some weird gulping sound. We do also have a weird buzzing sound, which I find very interesting, which does set off some dogs. So we're going to take a look at that too. And we also have examples to show different sounds and why they're different from the sounds that I find interesting. So this is a couple hours of research and going through and stuff. And so here's some more audio of coyotes and stuff that we'll take a look at. And if we zoom in to get a better look, you can see some of these fragments and stuff right here and right here. It's some of the stuff that we're looking for, even though it's nothing. Or most likely is little fragments of sound. You still need to investigate all these little signatures, and you could determine that it's wind or determine exactly what it is, but you still need to potentially stop because, you know, this kind of looked like the other stuff we weren't paying attention to. But that's a call. This is all calls. All right, so basically what you guys are hearing are a couple of different things right here. And it might have been a little harder to hear. It might be a little easier to see on the graph. We'll zoom in a little bit. You gotta zoom out a little bit. Okay, so what you see here is a coyote going off. It raises in pitch. These little fragments right here, it sounds like a honking sound. I think waterfowl. Honk, honk, honk. This fragment right here. This is more coyotes and stuff. And this is what I think is a car going by. We also have more examples of cars going by that sound different. So we have different examples of what you can expect when you are listening and looking for sound. And how you know, when you're looking at all this, that you're going to see there's different fragments. Stuff right here of knockings of what a knock would look like compared to animal sounds. A knock goes straight up and down. Solid knock happens once. It doesn't carry on like vocals. So, and we can compare this to other ones I actually have written down. So let's take a look at the time slate on some of this stuff. We'll go to what I have close by, and we'll take a look at some of these grounds, like this background noise, which I couldn't really identify. It's a little hard to hear, and especially different depths and ranges of sound. You see this really beautiful coyote sounds going off right here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. You know, it's very, and birds have some beautiful signatures and stuff. So you can actually truly determine what sounds and how these sounds look like in the sound signatures of a sequence. So if you guys hear this sound out there, it's from a coyote. It's not from a Bigfoot. And you might hear and see some of spectrograms of, potential herd whooping out there. Yeah, I mean, coyotes can make sounds that sound like whooping, can make all sorts of sounds. And you can visibly see what the signature is. So if anyone actually presented evidence, sounds like that, and you put it on a spectrogram, it should come out in certain ways. Now, that's why when you do the certain evidence, and if you've been doing this for 7 years and you're experts in it, you can determine based on what it sounds like and what it kind of looks like, that it's either an unknown animal or it's canine variety, or it could be a wolf, could be a regular animal. I mean, you don't have to jump onto the unknown animal bandwagon right away. You can say it's interesting, a piece of evidence like what I like to show you guys here soon. So, but this is very interesting because it does sound like whoops, and this is from a normal animal. And this is why Bigfoot on the brain. It's not always the regular coyote calls and stuff, the high-pitched one right here. Some people could hear that and think Bigfoot. I mean, the good old boys of the Squatch Watchers would definitely pass that off. And I could too. I could chop this up. I could split this right here and only show you guys this. And I could come over here to effects, and I could play around and mess with stuff. I could change filters. I could do a bunch of stuff. I could add more bass, add the tremble, do this, do that. I can make it louder. I can compress the video. I could do more things than I know what to do with, honestly. I mean, go down to special tools and go to this. I mean, there's a lot more stuff that this gives you to do than I know what to do with. But, I know how to change pitch, change tempos, mess around with the filters a little bit. You can do stuff a lot, if the more capable hoaxers actually spent hours and hours of trying to fake stuff, there's definitely a lot more better ways to go about it than what we've seen. So thank goodness they really don't apply themselves greatly. But it is very easy to hear stuff out in the woods and not really understand or misrepresent what you're hearing as Bigfoot, or if you have Bigfoot on the brain, or you're a city person, you've really never experienced the woods, you've never experienced all the animal calls or multiple different coyote calls, so you have a good reference to fall back onto, like, oh yeah, that does sound canine like. That does sound kind of like the coyote call I heard a couple months back. The most simplest answer is the answer is it's probably just a normal animal call. And there are some rare and exotic animal calls and coyote calls. I can't remember the name, but there's a famous Bigfoot call that Thomas Steenberg and Leon and stuff, I remember them talking about it a few times. Sure, next time Leon, next time Nikki has them on their show, Thomas on her show, I'll have to ask her what's those sounds, those coyote sounds that everyone thinks are Bigfoot, and it's a rare mating call of a lone coyote, because coyotes make a lot of rarity calls, and we actually, are still finding, especially in our community, verifying calls that are very rare that maybe are not officially recognized by our community, but that are known about, like say in hunting communities or officially to coyote researchers. All right, so let's jump into other stuff. As we take a look, this is my call that I made. And you can barely see it right here, but there's a signature of the coyotes going off that sets off these. And I think right here, this is actually probably a rare sequence of coyote calls that a lot of people probably would not hear. And like I said earlier, Jeff from Pine Island Research is always talking about the from the O's to O's and O's to A's. And this is of the example of what coyotes actually can do in that aspect. So, all right, so let's keep moving on. And I know this might be a little boring for some of you guys, but this is actual, real research and evidence showing, and I'm not fabricating this bullshit to pass it off as real Bigfoot, even though it's probably a lot easier to do that. So, so here we have more calls in the background. And we do actually have some local dogs that do pop up eventually. All right, so let me go to 15 minutes. Pop over here and actually get into some stuff. So right here we have some interesting call that I didn't really recognize at first. That again, thought was interesting. But we do know coyotes are in the area, so. And now that does kind of sound very interesting. Now that could be, from my experience, it kind of does sound like a bird potentially, but birds usually are a little higher on the scale when we hear birds. It potentially is a rare coyote call. I'm not really familiar with that one sound, especially a lone coyote call, and not really realizing how close it was. But we do know that there are coyote calls in between, before and after. Eventually, you will run into some, but this is one of the calls that I thought was interesting. I'm not going to say it's Bigfoot. I would say that I not really recognize it right away as a coyote call, just because it does have a little bit more W sounding woo woo woo, and not sounding like some of the examples we did here. But we do have some examples right here that are in the background that might sound similar. So that one is a little bit different. That one is coyote to me, and I would recognize as coyote. And it does sound similar in the tone of the woo woo woo, just a different pitch. And here's another example of a woo, but a different pitch, right? And now we have some sparse background noise. Okay, so now those sound coyote to me, and I would say, okay, yeah. But this one at first, it didn't sound like coyotes and stuff. It didn't really present itself as canine, but it is on the same bandwidth level, I would say, of range, and most likely I would say is probably coyote. And it kind of is that woo 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 sound at a different tone, different pitch. But at first hearing this without going through everything at first, it sounded interesting. It's a little bit better than a normal coyote sound. But when you start reviewing the evidence, you go down the line and stuff. See if we have any more. We have a little squeak or something right there of something. And so, this is what happens. People see this and like, oh, well, that sounded way different. It could be Sasquatch. Sounded more squatchy. But we have something right here that keeps making sounds. That's in the same range. And it's a little bit broken up. In my opinion, it's probably the same animal. And it's a lone coyote making some type of yipping sound or some rare vocalizations that probably are not really recorded or recognized that much. And this is actually pretty interesting too, because we need to learn these more rare vocalizations so we can eliminate them from saying this is potential Sasquatch stuff, right? I don't really want to say this is potential Sasquatch stuff when I have audio of, coyotes on both sides of it and stuff like that, or coyote fragments in the background. You have some right here. You have some right here. Or you have a different, what is this one? Don't know. I don't have it labeled. Oh, yeah. That's me. I was like, wait a minute, what's this? So these are my whoops right here, which are different signature than the sounds that we were hearing too. So I know this is a little bit more longer lecture kind of a style and stuff, but and so it doesn't, there's not a double call here. It's just an echo. I believe that it's kind of picking up a fragment of the sound. So that's what my calls sound like. Of course, I know what that is because I recognize my calls, my voice. Of course, seeing it on the spectrogram, I wouldn't recognize it as me necessarily. Because, all right, let's look. Because I was hearing those sounds, those odd calls. And of course, when you're hearing it in the field and stuff and reviewing it, it sounds a little bit different. I did know there's coyotes around me, and but when hearing those, that weird, maybe it's a rare coyote call. It's a weird sound. I think it's a more rare coyote call. I made a whoop sound because I thought it sounded pretty interesting in the field, in the moment. All right, what's the next one? I thought we had some more examples of the rare coyote sequence right there. These rare lone coyote calls that are location calls and stuff like that. But we do actually have some wood knocks that we're going to look at right now that are at 40 minutes. Because this is 40 minutes. These are maybe ones I might have to amplify for you guys. Do I have it right? All right, let's try to hear it. I thought I had two. No, it's only one. Oh. That's why, because I couldn't see it because it was... right here. You hear a little thump sound. So you have some call in the background here that is actually making a howl. You see this line right here. Now I'm sure most of you who are viewing it off a computer speaker or off a phone probably aren't hearing anything. But those of us with headphones or specialized speakers are going to hear some type of call that is in the background. It does sound a little different than coyotes, but it falls within the same range. We hear a thump. I will amplify that. Right now for you guys. So we'll go over here, go over to filters. We'll go over to the low pass filter, which is going to eliminate all noise or background noise from whatever frequency hertz and above we set it to. So we would take a look at this line and look on over. It's about say in between 700, 600 and stuff like that. And this one was, sorry for that, guesstimation. We'll just say 400 because it's okay. Okay, not sure what it did there. Go like this, and we'll just split the clip. Go over here to effects, go over here to filters, go over here to the low pass filter, which is the opposite of what you would think it would do. So it's going to eliminate the background noise on everything and above. So we're going to do that again, and it's critical R for repeat. Critical R for repeat. That is a little bit too much. So you want to try to eliminate the background noise without actually distorting the sound you're trying to actually to get, because you can distort sounds by messing around and doing this sort of stuff pretty easily. So what we're going to do over here to go to volume to amplify, and we're going to change this amplification decibel to 6 decibels each apply as we get a nice easy slow amplification. Repeat it. Repeat it. Oh, messed up there. Now you guys probably hear the sound a lot better, and as we keep amplifying it, we could actually distort it too, because we're going to amplify the background noise, which actually is going to create more background noise, which we actually eliminated because we keep amplifying it. Do it one more time, and then we'll go back down. All the way back to the original clip. And that is what we are hearing, that thud, which is happening when there is no wind spikes. Because remember, we did show wind spikes that you can easily see. And we do know that this sound, this thud, is happening when there is no wind at all. And it does sound like a thud, a typical thicker sounding thud sound than a stick or a twig or something like that. So this is at 40 minutes. Let's take a look at some wind, because we can find some wind. And here we have wind signatures right here. Let me go like this. And we can look at the wind signatures that happen. That is all this at the bottom right here. That is when I walk up. But you can see in here the wind signature right there. And yet here, when we go back to where that thud was, there is no wind signature at all, indicating that it is most likely not wind causing trees to huddle together, but there's a thud sound coming out of the woods that the wind is not making happen. So, what is it? I don't know. I didn't actually hear this in real time. I did not hear the thud in real time, but the recorder picked it up. I was farther away, 100 or 200 yards away from the recorder. The recorder was actually at the car. And so I did pick that up, which is interesting. It's one of these sounds that does happen that you would have to look at and view and say, instead of, man, I've already spent 40 minutes by listening to it through the headphones, and then another I'm stopping and looking and replaying and stopping and looking and replaying on all the sounds that are potentials, and then you stop and you replay and look at this. You've spent twice, 3 times the amount of time checking and verifying each and every sound. So let me look at some of these comments as I've I might have to turn it up too. You know, I don't know. I thought when I replayed the last show when we showed audio off my phone, I thought I could hear the stuff. But like I said, when you are playing this on some speakers and some phones and stuff, you're probably not going to hear some of the stuff I'm trying to point at, but that is okay. Because you can see what I'm trying to show you guys at least. So this is a knock. This is a thud. A thud sounds a thud sound, not a small wimpy sound, with no wind. So if you guys can't really hear it, I can show it to you physically and stuff. All right, so let's move on to the go back over here. So yes. Skip a little bit more. 34, 47. That's what I have. Quiet. For some reason, my timestamps and what everything appears to be lining up as is off a bit. Right here. This right here I thought was pretty interesting. Now you do have some coyotes going off in the background here. You see this line right here that extends to more coyotes right here. Now this is in the background. But let's take a look at this. Let me line it up in the middle. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right here. What is this? I will amplify this because some of you guys aren't hearing this. So the static is going to get louder. I'm going to amplify it. Static is going to get louder. Then we're going to cut out the background noise and try to isolate it for you guys. All right. So to me, I don't know what I can't really describe what I'm hearing. It's some like buzzing, gulping sound is what I wrote down. All right. So let's go over here to volume and compression. We'll go over to amplify. We'll change this number to whatever it is. Just change it to 6 is what I like to go at. We're going to repeat it. You can see it's going to get brighter, so it is going to get louder. All right, so we're going to amplify it one more time. And then we'll play it. Actually, no. De-amplify it. We'll do it from there. So that's as loud as we're going to get it from right there. Then we're going to go back to the original to where we just made this split cut right here. And then we'll go right over here to filters. We go over to low pass, and then we'll go 1,000 and above. We want eliminated from what we are hearing. So if we do that by 1,000 at a time, so if we do it once, we do it twice, we do it 3 times. Do it one more, 4 times. Doesn't sound like it's just distorting the sound. Doesn't sound like it cut out the sound. So we're going to go back over here to amplify, and we're going to amplify this again by, apologize for that, by 6 decibels per time we do this. So we did it once already. We're going to do it again. So this is twice. Here's 3 times. Apologize for that. So if we go back over to... And of course, as you amplify it too much, you'll bring back the static. So right there, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I can hear it. And there's some type of guttural gulping sound or something. It's like when you like swallow something, it's like it kind of like gurgles and stuff. I don't know. That is definitely some weird sound. Hopefully you guys can hear it. I'm not sure. I'm hoping. Yeah. This digital recorder picks up stuff far away. I mean, I really have never done like a range test on it to figure out the stuff, but it has got wood knocks from 100 to 200 yards away on one of the expeditions in winter. Because the source of the wood knocks, and it caught them, and I brought them up. We showed them on here one time during winter a couple years back, but those knocks were probably at minimum 100 yards to more like 200 yards, and it picked them up. Yeah, so it picks up some pretty good stuff. It just depends on how loud it is. It just depends on the sound, honestly, because there's some stuff where some of the lost recordings that hopefully I can get back, it picks up some stuff that sounds at different ranges and stuff. So you can see, oh, it sounds like it's way off in the background, and then some of these sounds like it's a little bit closer and like it's right up to it. So I'm not quite sure how far it can pick up. And each different sound is going to be at different ranges too. A wood knock is going to be a little bit different than a vocal range. And depending on what kind of like a whoop is going to sound different, be able to pick up at different ranges than a full-on Ohio call blast. So I sucks. I'm sorry if you guys are not able to see to hear everything and stuff, but you can see the orange right here, the highlighted orange right here, and that is the gulping sound or rubbing of trees is what paramedic suggested. And I don't know. There's no wind and stuff. I don't know what this is. And it is harder to hear. Maybe I could cut out the sound from 600 or 500, 550 and eliminate some more background noise. I could try to do that to bring it back up and amplify it even more. The trouble is I just don't want to, each device is going to have different sounds. So like it might be super loud for someone. It might be super quiet for probably most of you and stuff. I know when I replayed it on my phone, my iPhone, the last time I tried showing stuff, I thought I was able to hear some stuff, decently, but it's all trial and error. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next thing, and then we'll be wrapping it up here soon before 3 hours. And this is stuff I should probably cut up and break down and put out as actual video. This might get better stuff than live, but I like doing stuff live. I like being able to share you guys in real time and explain stuff and answer any questions if they arise. So let's go over to the metal buzzing sound. that actually sets off some dogs. So this one, hearing the dogs might be a little hard for you guys. Oh yeah, I think that's a bunch of coyotes over here. And this sound I thought was really interesting, and in my opinion is another weird, odd thing. So let's take a listen to that, and then we'll listen to some cars go by. 25. Oh, this is a metal sounding call or coyote call. So this is the one I was trying to find the show. It's not as loud as what Patrick Vaughn showcased, but it's very similar, like I said. And it does have some type of weird echo or kind of like it's metal sound ring to it almost. But I just think is where it's at in relation to the recorder. Also, what's in between the sound and the recorder. Obviously, tree brush, the density of the forest, and all that does play a factor. But I did find it interesting that it has this kind of ring to it, and maybe it's maybe it's two different vocals in one that a coyote's doing. Maybe it's Bigfoot. You know, it's definitely it's interesting to me. I think it's just interesting. It's not incredible piece of evidence of anything, but I think it's potentially maybe a rare vocalization of a coyote or of something. Definitely not normally what's heard out in the woods by me, and it's a little bit better quality of what we're kind of trying to look for. But again, it's my assumption is it's being distorted obviously by the foliage, and with all the coyotes around and stuff and not much else action or anything else verifying that it's potentially being Bigfoot, you can't really say it's Bigfoot other than it is interesting. So we do have the other buzzing sound that is different than this one. And we'll take a look at that. Should probably do this. I can see it better. Over here a little bit more. Right there. This whole line right here. You see it, this fat chunk right here. Now that might be extremely hard for you guys to hear, but you have this frequency or this noise or this buzzing sound, and it does set off local dogs start barking right after this. So to me, you could hear the background static noise, and then you'll hear a different pulse of a frequency of this band. And you can see the dogs reacting right here, barking off. They are probably reacting also to coyotes too. So it's hard to say if they're reacting to the buzzing sound or the coyotes. But in most of the clips where we hear coyotes going off, we do not hear the local dogs barking. Yet we hear the dogs barking when we have this. And this is at a very low end frequency. And let me call for a second. All right, so I don't know if I was on mute and stuff because I've been talking a little bit, but I might have been on mute there for a little bit. I apologize. That would really suck, but at least we're hearing some of the sounds, I guess, that I'm playing. Wow, that would really suck if I was on mute a long time. But here we have this frequency sound right here that is setting these dogs off. And it might be hard for you guys to hear. I'm going to actually amplify it right now. I'm glad I was showing this audio and stuff. At least you guys could hear some of the stuff I was trying to show. And man. I'm not sure how that happened. Wow. Okay. Taking a little bit back by that, but we're going to just keep going. All right, so we're going to come over here, change the effect. We're going to say 250. So you come over here, go over to 250. We'll change it. And already, we'll do it one more time. One more time. Undo it once. I think we can redo it and get away with it. And then we're going to amplify. Man. I tell you what, if I was on mute that time, I was trying to explain a lot of stuff for you guys. Man, it's a lot of information that I was trying to explain to you guys. But yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. All right, nice. We're going to just amplify this. So we can, man, that is bugging the heck out of me. Now I've been loud and clear, huh? That is weird. Because I looked down and it says I was muted on my mic. But I thought I wasn't muted because I was talking to you and it seemed like it was responded. But man, I just looked down and it says I've been muted and I just like gut-wrenching feeling like, oh, really? All right, so this might be a little bit loud, but let's see if we can hear the frequency. Oh, I might have messed up. I think I needed to include this with that so you guys could hear the regular sound and then the up change. Actually, you know what? We can. Yeah, let me redo this because we need a control sound that we can hear. So we go over to about here. Because you got to hear when it kicks in. So we'll split the clip. I think we can go at 200. Split the clip. Go over to effects. Go over here to filters again. Let's just do 225. Let's just be safe. One more. All right, let's amplify that. And hopefully some of you guys can hear the difference. I know you guys can definitely see that there's something going on, but it is very low and on the scale of what humans did. So we amplified it once, we amplify it twice, we'll amplify it 3 times. I don't think it messed up. We're going to go back one. Back two. Back three. One. Right there. So you can begin to hear it kick on better. And play it again. And you can hear, I can hear it kick on. See, play it again. And it just sounds like frequency or something tuning on, or, you know, sometimes when you're next to, like, you can hear the electrical buzzing, electrical hum on certain machines or power outages when you're up against high voltage. You can hear that, you know, that humming and stuff. That's what it sounds like. It just starts humming like that. And we have the dogs barking is going off right here at the right here. And this is the only time that this buzzing sound seems to actually happen. And it is definitely able to be picked up. Whether you guys could hear it or not right now, I do not know. Hopefully some of you guys can, but we're going to go all the way back to the original. And you can clearly see that there's something definitely happening right here. That starts right here, intensifies and stops, fades out and completely stops. And it definitely looks different than the wind signature that we had and we showed before. We do have some dogs that I think are barking to the sound of this, because the dogs don't really they do react to some of the coyote calls once in a while, every once in a while, not very, very rarely, but right here they definitely responded, in my opinion, to whatever this buzzing sound was. I have no idea what it was. We're gonna go look over, and it's different than the gulping sound that we kind of heard. It's different than all the sounds we've been hearing and showing. We have, let's see, we're here to go over to the cars. And so we have wind, smart calls, Oh, I was like, wait, why does this sound look exactly like the sound? Because it went all the way back there. All right. Because you have to make sure you click on it again before you push play, or I'll take you back to your last playback. Okay, so we are at 8:39. So here, you see this right here, this patch, and I will zoom in. Yeah, zooming in distorts it, but you see this patch right here. This is a car going by. And so I'm going to isolate this, and I'm going to top of this about 800. Isolate this and amplify it for you guys, because it is a sound of a car going on the highway. And you can hear it. You can hear what that sounds like, and you can see already by the signature that this is definitely different. You actually see that it's echoing, so there's multiple layers throughout the sound frequency. And it definitely looks different, and it has different range than the buzzing sound. So This is a car going by that we're going to show. And so I thought it was interesting. It's different, and I can show you guys how it's different than the cars going by, because I think some people would be like, well, you know, how do you know that's not a plane or a car going by? And it's like, well, I can show you cars going by, and I actually think I can show you a plane going by. I have other audio clips of planes, so I can easily show and planes light up the spectrogram. It is loud. And so, and usually a lot longer duration than the buzzing sound we heard. So I did find this pretty interesting. Let me go back. So we want a little bit of controlled noise so you guys can hear before the sound happens and then hear it as it happens. So yeah, this is a couple hours worth of work to find a couple seconds worth of interesting audio, and then changes to 800. So I believe we said this is limiting. Well, that's once. Oh, we need to. So we did it. We need it once. We need it twice. And you can probably tell that helped a lot by being able to hear it. So let's amplify it now. Not too many times, because if you over amplify it and stuff, or you over eliminate stuff, you start cutting into the sound itself, you will change the sound. But you can enhance stuff. There's a fine line without distorting stuff. So let's amplify it by 6 decibels at a time. You could go lower and stuff, but I found the magic number to be right there in my opinion. So I already amplified it once. We do it again. So this is what we're hearing. Okay, so if you guys are having trouble to, it just sounds like buzzing or whatever. It sounds like someone is going over the mediums with their shoulder and they're hitting the carved out pieces or the road texture that buzzes to wake people up when they're going off road. That is kind of what it sounds like. But what it actually is and I think it is because I have another location where we get a lot of this sound is the highway is going over a tunnel, or they're passing over or under an overpass, where they're going through under an overpass, and it creates that sound buffering is what we're hearing right here, or they're going over a tunnel and stuff, and the distortion is going through the tunnel or whatever and stuff. So that's actually what we're hearing. I do have a lot of audio clips of cars driving by, speeding up on country roads, and examples of cars driving on the highway. And this is cars driving on the highway because I've listened to hours and hours and hours of audio. And I can tell you that's what this is. And this looks completely different than the buzzing sound. So we're going to go right back to the original to see what it looks like. And, it kind of looks, if you blow it up and you have a better, louder sound of this car going on the highway, it kind of looks like tire treads of what it picks up. This didn't really do a good job. Going too much to sort it, but and you have these little dots that go after, bang, this bouncing, bang, boom, boom. Yes, that is all. cars on the highway. And I can easily show you guys that. Rumble strips. Yep. Sounds like the rumble strips. Yep. 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 And we'll go back over to the buzzing sound to show you what that looks like again. We're not going to amplify that again. Is that 35? $35, $35, $35, $30, and so right here. And you see it's definitely different than the car on the highway. You can see this is a small width band of frequency right here. And it's interesting. And it definitely is something interesting. And makes some dogs go off that are neighborhood dogs. I don't know what it is. It doesn't appear to be the wind. It doesn't sound like any cars on the highway. It is very quickly. It's very abrupt. It doesn't have a very dynamic signature. It's just a little strip of sound that is roughly about 100 hertz to 150, definitely under 200 hertz. So of some type of frequency buzzing. So that is pretty interesting find. I did not hear this in real time. I think maybe I would have heard, I could have probably heard the dogs, but I did not hear whatever this was. I definitely did not hear that in real time. And then we have I think there's another vocal that I was going to show you guys that was interesting because of the vowel changes or whatever that it makes. And then we have potential knocks, and then that's kind of it for the audio findings of this last second to last outing. I still have some audio to go through. And you can see that is at a different frequency. So we have this down here that looks kind of similar. Let's take a listen to this. I didn't really hear anything right here, but there is something, potentially something right there, or that could be starting of wind fragments, but it is definitely different than the buzzing. Buzzing is not the wind. And so we have a little call. I think I might have made this one. Yeah, because I don't have this one marked. And then we have a little response, which I did not hear, but I think it's coyote, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's coyotes that start going off right about here. So here we have an actual car going by. You can hear it at the end and see it. It is it almost looks kind of similar to the buzzing sound, but it is longer in duration. You can see the car speeding up, and at the very end is where it speeds up. Yeah, it goes vroom right here. All right, so that sounds different than the buzzing sound. It's actually longer duration, even though it's in the similar bandwidth between 100 and 200 and stuff. It sounds different. It looks different. It is different, longer frequency. But then the coyotes start going off, start getting some responses and stuff, and there's some more coyotes that go off right there. Of course, there's other stuff. More coyotes going off. And this begins to be cars going by or something like that. Highway stuff. So we have wind right here. We'll hear this wind pick up. Where it actually blows on the recorder. All right, so let's skip over all this and go over to the knocks, which are at 51. I guess we're around here. So you see it right there, this little spike. We're going to amplify it and take away the sound. So we're going to say that's at 300. We split the clip, we go over here to effects, go over to our low pass filter, and we're going to go to 300. So do it once, do it twice. Oh, we need to keep doing it because we want to eliminate that sound. So right here, we're eating on the edge of the sound right here. So if you guys can't hear it, you can see it right here, and you can see the thud happening right here. So you can see it bounce. That is picking up the thud. And that is what we're trying to bring out. So even if you can't hear it, you can still visibly see it. All right, let's and I don't believe this is a wood fragment, but let's enhance it and stuff, and maybe we can get a better sense of what it actually is. Because it is on the low end of where wind fragment could be, and usually wood knocks do tend to have a more fuller range of when they knock. It's usually actually goes all the way up or actually presents a line. So we did it once, we do it twice, we do it 3 times. And as we take a look at it more, it is wind fragment and stuff. So, you know, that's an example of how some people could misrepresent just because you hear thuds and stuff and slight wind fragments and stuff. You can play into, oh, it's a thud and stuff, and you amplify it and you listen to what you're actually hearing. And to me, it is not a wood knock thud like we shown before, but this is a wood knock, or this is a wind fragment. And so we're going to actually show you the difference between this wind fragment and the other wood knock that the thud that we heard. Okay, so this is the wind fragment. And you see it only goes to, it's just underneath 200 right there. was it? You can see that this thud right here is different in structure and different in appearance, and it is, I distorted it too much. It is a little bit different. And to me, this actually does sound like a thud sound. It does not appear to be a spike of the wind, but actually has, it goes above 200 at the very top right here. And actually does carry off a little bit. I mean, we already went through that one. And it does have an actual thud on a tree and not a wind fragment that muffles the sound, which appears to be a thud. And that's why you really need to investigate and look and listen and have kind of experience of, well, I've heard this sound before, and it kind of sounds like this. It reminds me of this, because a lot of those sounds, especially when it comes to wind or knocking on trees, are going to sound different. Vocalizations are going to sound different. The trouble happens when, stuff happens far away and it's in the background and you're trying to, like this is a call. This is a call that's in the background. It's very sharp, very low. But if it was closer up, you could get better detail to determine what it is. But since this is in the background, you can't quite say it's Bigfoot, especially when there's coyotes in the clips and we have a bunch of stuff. But there are some definitely interesting. Let's jump over here. We'll stop sharing this because we're done showing the audio and stuff. Some people might have not hear some of the audio clips and stuff. Some of the audio from your guys' perspective. If you guys don't have a good set of these, it might be harder to hear. Also, streaming through StreamYard might be adjusting the volume on their end and stuff too. So, but we can visually see stuff that there are some interesting artifacts. There are some common wildlife calls, some normal coyote calls, closely resembling what Patrick claimed, what the experts thought were unknown animals. And I think we had some rare animal calls of coyotes that most Bigfoot researchers probably have never heard or think is Sasquatch upon hearing them. So I'm glad I was able to show you guys a little bit of some of the things that you come across. Here we can see some of the patterns and signatures of the coyotes, some of the rarer stuff that some people have talked about, the O's to O's sounding of what coyotes can do, and examples of that. And hopefully today's show showcased some interesting hoaxes that you guys probably weren't aware of, and the levels of mentally deranged people will go to of actually self-harm with some of their fake Bigfoot hoaxing right here, where a Bigfoot attacked this man, but it was really himself. He did it to himself, and he caused pretty good damage of bruising and a goose egg and some scratches. But again, you have to vet and to make sure that people you take out in the woods have integrity the same as you, because if you're not professional out there, you can get into all sort of shenanigans, and not the fun kind that you want to get into, but the crap that you don't want to deal with, and that makes you look bad at the end because you couldn't spot this kind of crap earlier, and I've experienced some of that stuff too. Oh, yeah, we never did look at the hand. Never did take a look at the hand. Let's take a look at the hand right now.
Set up this clip and tell us what was going on when you captured this audio. Okay, so I don't.
That was wrong.
I completely respect my control.
That was the wrong thing. They just jumped over. We'll take a look at this audio. I think it'll take 30 seconds for us to jump in. But basically, we'll watch Daryl's screen, and as it freezes and stuff, StreamYard it'll show him. his own hand
Something.
on his shirt.
Hey, y'all, we're on our way. We're on our way. They're going to get this house. Yeah.
Right about here, you'll see the spirit right there.
Daryl,
Right
what
there,
is that?
Right there.
Hold on.
It's just Daryl going like this. It's just Daryl going like this, and then all of a sudden they screenshotted it, and what Daryl presented it as that was the hand of Sasquatch grabbing him and ripping his shirt off of him. StreamYard just so happened to cooperate with that hoax to make it look like shit was happening in real time. Like, you know, the guy couldn't have faked StreamYard going in and out at the times that it actually did. So it actually kind of looked like, wow, there's something going on, and there's this weird hand. Well, anyone with a brain common sense could see that it's a picture of him going like this. But when we first seen it, that it cut out and stuff, there's like his face, or is probably up to next to the camera and stuff. It cuts out. StreamYard helped cooperate with that that hoax because it cut out and froze up at the right time of like the most climactic thing ever, and it really portrayed as stuff was actually happening. But again, it shows the deranged mentality that some researchers, some people in our community have, that they will take Bigfooting to the extreme. And here we have. That comment, Pyro, that just made me laugh. But getting back to we have some very we have dark places in our community that are filled with people who will do this to themselves, who will fabricate, maybe not on this level, but fabricate evidence and steer an investigation, a group of people to do to be convinced of otherwise what they would normally do. And Wayne is a awesome guy. He does a good show. He collaborates with Sasquatch Odyssey and does the hosting of the Paranormal Odyssey. He does good stuff. And this is one of the stuff where, you know, he dealt with it. He nipped it under the butt. He, for the most part, took the video off of the internet. But, you know, there are ways, certainly. If you leave a couple breadcrumbs, there are certainly ways to be rediscovered. And I watched this live, and that's why I knew about this, because I watched it happen live, and it always kind of bugged me. And like, you know, whatever happened to this? Because I really didn't pay attention to Wayne or the incident. But then, you know, I discovered, of course, you know, it was fake, and of course, you know. But then I always doing this hoax and stuff is like, man, I really wish I could show that, because it was an amazing hoax that a lot of people don't know about, because unless you were watching it live, you were in the group and you were following Wayne and his group, you didn't know about it. Of course, he's, you know, deleted the video and off of YouTube, and then no one would know about the hoax and stuff. But that person, which I guess I could look up, I'll give you an update next week. I don't know if we're going to be doing a show next week yet. I have to see and figure out some things, but I really wish it was snowing here in Michigan where I'm at. But anyways, oh, I just lost track of what I was thinking. A lot of people didn't know about the hoax and stuff, but a lot of people know him, though. And I need to give at least his YouTube channel name out, because I'm going to have to spend a minute doing this, because it's kind of hard to find this information that I did. But this hoax has always bugged me. This thing has always bugged me, like watching it in real time, and then looking back at it and figuring out this guy is actually friends with a lot of people, and still doing his thing. So I get the hiccups. Give me a second. Because this was a pain to find and do, but no, not impossible. Not impossible. I think that we go to this and we go over here. We do this. But you know, I really hate hoaxers, and this was one of the most over the top ones that I have ever got to experience, especially live. And I definitely want to bring this to light. And this guy obviously does have some mental issues, as Wayne has already explained that. The mental issues he has are extremely severe, and he desperately needs help. So, you know, I don't want to poke and prod a unstable individual's mind, but I do want to expose the dark shadows that are in their community, and one individual who still is roaming around. And a lot of people, you know, might be surprised that he was involved in this because it's not known about. But I think if he's hanging and doing the stuff and influencing other people, that they should probably have the background knowledge of, hey, this is what he did. I mean, this is some pretty major stuff. So, like, anything he says, just take a look at this. Take a look at this video, bro. Like, it's fake. And you know, it's this kind of a touchy line to walk, I guess. I don't know, but when it comes down to it, if whether or not you give me a second. What is his last name? All right, his name is what's his YouTube channel? Because I thought his Owens, Mr. Owens, Mr. Daryl Owens. If you guys don't recognize the name, maybe you guys do. Anyways, Daryl Owens is his name. Daryl Owen. Of course, there's that picture you see. Name verification right there. Some of you guys are friends with him on Facebook. Some of you guys are probably talking to him and listening to him. I don't know if you guys recognize him by the name. I think you guys will recognize the channel. It's going to take me too long to figure it out and find it. I have to go and look and scroll and go back years to find this information. But thankfully, it's actually still out there and it can be found. Yeah, you know, I guess he started hitting himself. I mean, how else are you going to get a goose egg on your face and, you know, rip your shirt and do all that? Severe mental issues and stuff, deranged mental issues. And I think that, you know, if there's one, there's more. And it doesn't have to be at that level, you know. I think that, in my opinion, I would love to have Wayne on here to talk about it. I'm not sure if he would. I haven't reached out to him. I know he does his own thing and he is getting a lot more popular and stuff, so it might not be the best stuff for him to talk about because it's negative and stuff, but also I personally think it'd be positive for him to explain what happened and what he went through and kind of the false narrative that Daryl pushed on them in their expeditions in the group that led them to go down to listen to him and follow, you know, oh, there's Bigfoot over here, let's go over here, and how it influenced them in their research and their findings. And how we can be better prepared to spot people who are doing this and prepare to in the moment recognize that this is probably fake, and we need to not, listen to this individual. We need to take a step back and really use common sense and say what's really going on here. Because it doesn't have to be the level of beating yourself up because a Sasquatch attacked you. Oh, something got thrown over here, guys. Everyone come over here. Everyone, no, over here. This is the spot right here. This is where the activity is at. Come back over here. You're wasting potential. You're destroying an expedition. You're messing up people's times, and so definitely is another character type, another personality. A lot of different issues going on and stuff, but it's still the same old hoaxing of trying to influence and push false narrative, and it can happen. It can happen to people you can consider your friends, because that's what Wayne experienced. He was his friend, thought he was his friend. And when you're out there and you're in the battlegrounds, that's the name of the video, the battleground. When you're on the battlegrounds or the front lines and you're actually chasing after a 1,000-pound Sasquatch, you want people next to you who you can trust, because it is life on your line. Like, you're going to go after a grizzly bear. Who do you want beside you? You want someone who you can trust, right? Now, if come on now. It comes down to legitimate, honest, professional integrity. You want someone next to you who you can trust. And sometimes I've experienced it, and other people are experiencing that. You find out too late that some of these people who you've trusted with your life and are not in it for the same reasons as you are. They're in it for fame, popularity, money, clout, whatever it is. It's not the integrity of the research. So be on the guard for that, guys. Be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for people steering the expedition to what they want to keep doing, and on focusing on them or spotlighting on them, or instead of what's best for the group, or what should be done and doing this and this. You gotta watch out for stars and spotlights and things like that. It's hard to explain. It's easier to experience it and to recognize it after you experienced it and dealt with it than for me to explain it to you guys and for you guys to listen and recognize it. It's just easier kind of for you guys just to deal with the shit, honestly. And yeah, I had one more clip that it was supposed to load up, but it appears that it didn't load up, and it was the last little clip of Mr. Patrick Vaughn giving us our last little goodbyes, but it didn't load up. It was like 30 seconds too. Anyways, we'll save that for next time, because we'll have some more from Patrick Vaughn, because he has a lot to give. He has a lot of information that he peddled out that was false and stuff. His whole knock system and third generation, second generation tracker. And Sawdust and Beast of the Woods, good old boys, and Mr. Patrick Vaughn have a good old time. They get along well. But when they talk about tracking, they both start talking about tracking, but they don't talk about tracking. Like, they don't talk about any details. They don't talk about anything. They talk about it's an art, the art of tracking, and how you have to be humble. And Mr. Patrick Vaughn's quote is, you're one step above and you're one step, behind the track when you track. But he don't go into freaking detail of actually what you're looking for, what you're doing, what's this, what's that. It's all more like philosophical tracking. He's when he explains tracking to you, he's going into there's a lot philosophy session with us. Not actually explaining tracking in any way, shape, or form. at least in this interview that I've got, and all the interviews I've personally watched with him, he doesn't explain how to do really anything. And in this one, it's more or less the same. And the Sawdust is doing the same thing of how he tracks it. And I don't hear tracking. I hear how you explain tracking in a very philosophical way. And it sounds good. It sounds good. But there's no substance to it. So that's what we get from Sawdust Boys, as we're going to be showcasing them and some of the comments they make. You know, I can't really say that they're hoaxing and stuff, but they definitely peddle misinformation and they peddle false narratives from people who are known hoaxers. And they have collaborated with Sisters of the Moon, who got caught hoaxing and never got called out by the good old boss. And they all found evidence together and stuff like that. And so it's like, come on now. People get caught hoaxing and now they found evidence and stuff on your gatherings and this happened. And it's like, it's all about money. It's all about subs, content creation. It's not good to call out people it's not good to call out anyone. It's definitely not good for me to go after them, because the good old boys have a lot of people who like them because they do have a fun, laughing, fun show. It really doesn't have any information, evidence of Bigfoot most of the time, but they laugh and make jokes and it's real fun. And that's going to get me a lot of heat for that. But I'm going after the substance. And when you want to consider them experts and listen to them and go for preschool 101 Bigfoot class, yeah, that's what they're up to. And they do. And, they're not on the pedestal that some people have put them on. And I going to call them out. And it's not going to be for my benefit, because I'm definitely going to get some heat. And people are going to be like, man, why are you after them? They're good. They're good old boys. Because they put peddling lies, false narrative. And 7 years of, that was almost 3 years ago. So 10 years of audio expertise now. 7 years at the time. And he thought Patrick Vaughn's audio evidence was of an unknown animal, because I looked and determined that's what it was. Through my 7 years of expert opinion. To me, it sounds like a pretty nonchalant lone coyote call. But hey, I'm not the expert that has a good show and has a slow pace of words so you can flow good and then it sounds good. And then when I tell a story and I pause and I ask you a question, it flows good. It comes off as good content. People love it. But when you dive into the substance of what's in all this, there ain't shit. Because, and I quote Mr. Beast of the Woods, this is my strategy. I like to wait for everyone to be asleep, and then I'll go out and go do my research. When there's a dozen people who drove hundreds of miles and spent hundreds of dollars to be here to go researching with us as we're the host, I'm going to wait till they're fucking sleeping, and I'm going to go out by my fucking self and, I experienced this. I did this. I found this. Kind of a jackass asshole does that. Hey, I'm going to invite everyone here to Michigan. Fly out to Michigan. And when you get here, I'm going to wait till you're fucking sleeping. And then I'm going to go out by my fucking self to go research. Sounds legit to me. Hey, I know you just spent $500 to travel and get here, but I had to wait till you're sleeping to go and do my research without you. I'd be pissed off if I went to some other state. Well, it would never happen to me because I stay up and I fucking go out. And I make sure I go out and I stay up and I do my stuff because I'm not going to rely on some jackass when we're going out, when we're going out, when we go, almost time, almost time, almost time. And then when you're fucking sleeping, oh, it's time. Anyone want to go? Anyone want to go? Without waking anyone up. That's rude. And I should have recorded that when I seen it the first time and heard it, because I did not like that. Man, if I would have went to Florida, 168, and I had to wait around, and we actually did do that the second night we were there. We were waiting on Mark, one of the team leaders, and the other team leader to get off their ass, get us rounded up so we could fucking go and do something. That didn't fucking happen. We wasted a little bit of time that second day. And by the third day, we're wrapped around. It was like, no, Carrie, the Lost Cryptid Boys are going out, whether there's team leaders or not. We're going out. And that's what we did. And the people didn't like that. People didn't like that at all. And I didn't want to fucking wait around. I didn't drive all the way to Florida to wait around. And that's why that actually comment pisses me off. And that's why Beast of the Woods is a special kind of place in my heart, because that comment right there shows me that you're not researching. You invite people out here. They're spending their hard-earned money. They're putting miles on their car. They're flying, spending their money, their time, their vacation time to go researching with you at this LBL area where, you know, all the shit happens, and you guys can have all those good fucking stories of shit that happens. But when it comes down to take people out and stuff, your grand strategy. Oh, you take people out and you've had night hikes and you guys do all this. Yeah. But that one grand strategy of you wait till everyone else is asleep and then you go out. Yeah, it seems like a good strategy, but man, that's an asshole rude way to say, hey, I'm glad you spent $500. You traveled 500 miles. You put 1,000 miles on airline tickets. I can't go out until you're sleeping, man. I'm sorry. Like, that to me is just pisses me off. It pisses me off, man. It pisses me off because I could take people out. I could charge people money to take them out. I'm sure there's people would love and would pay me money. And if we could go out and do legitimate stuff in an area that is not kindergarten 101. It's not a place where I would take a preschool 101 class to go. But, you know, get paid money and stuff and have a good old time. And I guarantee you will be the one begging, please, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep in the tent. We've already done too much walking, Blake. Please. Okay, you go by yourself, Blake. Yes. I will run you to the ground until you're like, I quit. I quit. I'm done Bigfoot researching. I'm too tired. And then I'll go out when you're sleeping after you've been exhausted by going out all day. You know, to me, that's the only acceptable way to go out when other people are sleeping, is when they're too damn tired to just fucking go. And they're like, no, there's no way. I'm too tired. I'm not wait around until everyone's sleeping. You know, spending their money. I feel bad. That's why I don't, you know, I am going to have a free camp out, meet and greet and stuff. No money and stuff involved, but it's like, I would feel bad for people to spend their money and not provide them with a good time, not go out, not push them and try to have stuff. I'd feel bad if nothing happens, even if we've spent 10 miles every day out in the woods. Everyone's happy with a smile on their face and said this was the best thing ever. I would feel a little guilty that nothing happened because people have spent their hard-earned money traveling across the states. And, you know, to me, it's like, you know, I really wish, I want stuff to happen. I want people to experience it. So when people say, yeah, they're having expeditions and they say things and they have strategies and they do these things, that it's just like, why are you wasting people's money and time and effort, you know, like that to me. But I already know that, you know, Mr. Sawdust is the expert because I've seen it firsthand from him. So that's why I like to call out and have been calling out little by little. This is the first time we have actually showcased and presented them and actually called them out fully on the channel, but it is one of these things that has ate me up, and they kind of are slowed down in doing the shows and stuff. And they have Bama on there. He's a good character too, and a lot of people like these individuals. But when you peddle false narrative and your friends and you push hoax evidence and stuff that are from hoaxers and stuff, you're not the experts. You're not on this pedestal, and you need to either you're content creators and you only care about stories, whether you don't care if they're real or not. You're only about content creation, or you're actually researching and about the evidence about the species, about the truth. You can't be content creator and be about the truth, because you have a niche to keep filling. You need to keep doing content, whether the truth is there or not. You need content. So you eventually will make up stuff, make up stories, or you need to make up something happen, some dramatic stuff. You look at, I don't want my names out, but you can look at a lot of channels who used to go out there, used to do more expedition stuff, and now they're doing storytelling commentary with beautiful B-roll footage of scenery, and gotta have the content creating going, flowing. So anyways, that's all we're gonna have here for today. 3.5 hours. We did a little bit over, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different variety as we showcased hoaxers and the audio and stuff we went over. I know it's a little bummer that a lot of people couldn't hear with the audio and stuff, but hopefully you guys could visually see the differences I was trying to explain. It is a lot, but those who are passionate about it, want the real information and truth, I think would enjoy this information and learn stuff from it. I'm just tired of people pushing fake bullshit stuff or stupid stuff or hearing stuff out there and not knowing that it's the most basic fucking coyote call you can hear. And now some of these coyote calls that people think are Bigfoot are more rare. I give them that they're not averagely heard, but still, I've heard them plenty of times. Most legit, honest, integrity-filled researchers probably have heard those and would recognize those and don't say they're Sasquatches. But the people who like to push stories, the narrative, and it's more about having the good time than anything else. I mean, yeah, fuck, you find tracks, you find tree manipulation, you find anything you want by going into the woods. I'll find you anything you want. I'll point out stuff that, hey, that's Bigfoot stuff. I've pointed out all damn day. Doesn't mean it's real. So I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this below the substandard level of fucking common sense, of evidence collection, of evidence analyzation, of observation skills, of hearing, of listening to stuff and recognizing sounds, recognizing what is this, recognizing that if you take a picture of something that's a foot off the ground, you have flowers that are a foot off the ground, that it's probably not 1,000-pound animal laying down right there, because you can see that it's not 1,000-pound animal laying right there, and it's just shrubs and stuff. Like, come on, this is below kindergarten level. Like, this is so ridiculous. And you get into the woo side, and I'm open to the woo side. I'm open to weird stuff happening. I'm open to it. I'm not open to people hijacking the woo side and making you drink their Kool-Aid and becoming the cult leader and us listening to them because they have all the answers or they are the expert in the woo side. Like, I'm open for the evidence. I'm not open to the stories or the character types or the cult leaders who influence people, or call me. I'll talk to your Bigfoot through Mindspeak, and then all of a sudden I've seen it. These people will call this person, and that person is mind speaking to the Bigfoot that is hundreds of miles away on that person's property. And like some therapy session, some therapist is now taking what you tell them from what the Bigfoot is doing, and now it's mind speaking to the Bigfoot, and like a therapist is giving it to you. And then you go back home and collaboration, and they did this. Oh my God, yeah, I can't. Oh my God, you're right. It's some scary stuff because history proves that, people are gullible. People will listen. People will commit atrocities. People will believe absurdities and commit atrocities. They will believe the most absurd things, and they will commit the most greatest atrocities. That's something about Stockholm syndrome, leader falling for the leaders. I don't know, whatever it is. Get some psychiatrists and get some people, doctors, who know what the hell I'm trying to talk and explain. I'm not an expert. I can't explain it, but this cult mentality, this Stockholm syndrome, this, oh my God, this person's like a leader. I must follow them and obey them, and everything is the holy gospel from them. It is fucking ridiculous. And it's at the point where, I want to walk the line of, I don't want to destroy fragile people's lives, because there are some people who got, had traumatic experiences, and now they've, basically their whole world is a Bigfoot to like protect them. There's certain people I would definitely feel bad about shattering the world, and then there's other people it's just like, oh well, enough's enough. The crap that you're pushing, it's just like, whether regardless of whatever happened to you, this is not acceptable. And I can't be polite. You can't be polite, can't be tolerant of bullshit, because you're going to get bullshit on you. It's going to get full of bullshit. Want to be nice and not hurt a human individual and destroy their whole world because this is the only fucking thing that they have. It's the only friends they have. But at the same time, I'm tired of the bullshit. And certain individuals, if I see the mannerisms, how they act and stuff, I would not give two shits if their world got shattered and destroyed or whatever happened. I would not care. There's some people who, by looking at them and stuff, I experiencing what they say and how they act, I would feel bad if I exposed them and they did something. So it's a little bit of a fine line. And that's why I sometimes will call certain people out, and sometimes refrain, and sometimes, seem like I'm balancing on what I should do and how to go about it, because it is a touchy subject. There are some dark shadows in our community. There are some people who are in our community who are healing from traumas, whatever it may be. Some of the most bad stuff that can happen to people, and this is the only way that they might be healing. And so they believe the fantasy land. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid and trying to make everyone else drink it. And so it's like, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that individual, right? Because no matter what, you paint them as false information, they're hoaxing, or it's all fantasy. I mean, you're going to ruffle feathers. You're going to upset someone. So you can't walk on eggshells and expect change to happen. You can't expect that if you're going to walk on eggshells that magically they're going to get cleaned up. You got to sweep the bullshit away and clean it up yourself. So you can't walk on the eggshells. You can't tiptoe through the bullshit. Can't really coexist with it. You can't really tolerate it, because in the end, it's only going to put more bullshit in the pond with you, in the tank with you, or in the area. It's only going to muddy the waters more. And I'm tired of it, and I want to expose it. It's kind of a touchy subject when you call certain people out, but I'm at a point where it's like, if you're pushing fantasy land, you need to be labeled it's fantasy, whether or not it destroys your life. And I believe that the integrity of the community and the standards that we need and are trying to strive for are going to be more important than individuals who have mental disabilities, and not mental disabilities, but mental disorders, extreme mental disorders that are making them do this, yeah, I think the integrity of what we're trying to achieve and what we need to achieve, getting the ball rolling down the field, is more important than the feelings of some of these hoaxers and stuff, some of these mainstream hoaxers that are out there. Some of these low men on the totem pole type of things aren't really that important to me, but in the end, it still does add to the bullshit. So in the end, I feel like whoever is shattered and broken and lives are destroyed, if they are pushing the false narrative of Fantasyland, cultish activities and hoaxing and stuff, I guess, oh well, you should be known as you're pushing false narrative, because I'm not wasting. I don't want 50 years of we're still here. 50 years of, we're talking to Bigfoot over here, mind speaking to Bigfoot over here. There's fucking people gifting Bigfoot right back there, and yet there's nothing to discover. There's nothing. I know. And the people are a danger to themselves when they go out in the fucking woods and they start talking to trees, because Bigfoot's living in trees or whatever the fuck it is. And I think the integrity and what we need to achieve, what I want to achieve in my lifetime when it comes to finding Bigfoot and discovering Bigfoot, is, in my opinion, to getting the ball rolling and discovering Bigfoot and making it official and recognized and stuff is more important to me than some of these mentally deranged people's lives and what they're making of it. They're the ones pushing this false narrative. I'm not going to tiptoe and not call out bullshit when I smell it. You can dress up like a duck, quack like a duck. You can act like a duck. But if you're a fucking dolphin, I'm just going to say you're a fucking dolphin. And I don't think that no matter how much you try to tiptoe of it, you really can't tiptoe good enough to not upset someone, not upset the person. So in the end, I'm kind of getting to kind of going back and forth of, in the end, I don't think, you don't harass the people, but you definitely need to call them out, show why. Don't harass, don't continue to actively try to destroy anyone's fragile feelings or ego, or especially the people who are more weak-minded individuals who you kind of can see are more prone to having their lives shattered. I kind of feel bad, but Steven Strutford and Squatch Watchers and some of the other people, fuck them. Who gives a shit? Oh well, Steven Strutford, his old bookstore burnt down in March, and me and him disagree on a lot of things. I think he's actually an asshole piece of shit who is a stain out in our community, while there's a lot of people who think he's a very smart individual who's helping our community. I don't think so. I think he puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth who interacts with him. And if you're not in the club, you're never will going to be in that club. But I really don't give a shit that his bookstore burnt down. And I actually warned him on the show when we got into our debate, where I catfished him, I reeled him in on the fucking show that he participated in. I did warn him that, you be careful where fire hazards and stuff, because it didn't look very clean and kept and swept and neat and fireproofed. And as lo and behold, what happened? So I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for calling those people out. There's certain people, you should probably stick it to them a little harder. And there's some people where it's like, you better be careful. I feel bad if, this person's life's got destroyed in some way because of Bigfoot. Other people, it's like, oh, well. And some people might think that that's me being mean or being an asshole. And it's like, well, when people rub me a certain way and they remind me of certain mannerisms and how of other people acted and people are not good in general, I tend to not like them. and I tend to not care what happens to them. So, Steven, I hope you're not still roasting marshmallows. I know it's been almost a year now, so I'm sure you're back behind some type of computer on your group bitching and complaining about the newest whatever conference and things going on or expedition that you're not a part of that you're not really doing. So, but anyways, we're going to cut it here because I've been ranting and raving for the last little bit. And yes, so I'm done. Everyone take a tune into Nikki's show. She had an awesome show this Sunday. It's weird. It's like I trying to think of some shows to point out to you guys, and it's like, man, there's a lot of people aren't really doing Monday shows anymore. Like Jeff ain't doing no Monday shows, and it's kind of, it sucks not having Joe Snyder have his Friday shows and his random shows during the week, because I would say tune into them and all the shenanigans that would happen and stuff. So, but I would say, when you watch someone, you listen to their stories and their encounters and their evidence, really have an open mind and try to figure out what's really going on. Don't listen to the story just because it's a pretty face. There's some channels out there where, there's a good looking woman on the other side that are telling you, we're having these experiences. And I think there's a lot of men out there who, oh yeah, I believe you. And it's like, come on now. It's the same thing. Don't fall for character types. Don't fall for personalities. Don't fall for a story. Don't fall for the Kool-Aid. Don't fall for the smell of the bullshit. It's intoxicating. It is, because it's toxic. All right, and with that no further stuff, we're going to end the show. We appreciate everyone for sticking it out. I really do. And we'll be having more stuff come out. Like I said, we'll have a group camp out. I'm going to invite real researchers out to Michigan. We got some great spots. I want real researchers or people who have integrity. You don't have to be real researchers, but people who have integrity. More important to have integrity, to come out to hopefully experience some stuff in Michigan, to have a chance of encounters, to have a chance. I can't guarantee something's going to happen, but there's a chance, and I would love to experience it with people. All right, guys. God bless, and make sure you guys spend time with your families, take care of them, and if you have loved ones that you haven't reached out in a long time, you should probably take the step and do it. You should reach out and stuff, because time is fleeting and you never know what each new day could bring. And it's a lot better to not live with regret and live with stuff that if, woulda, shoulda, coulda type of stuff, and just do it. The answer is always going to be no, until you actually find out and ask. And then you might get a different answer. But until you try, the answer it's always going to be the same. It's never going to change until you try. So reach out to your loved ones. God bless everyone. Be safe out there, and keep an open mind to everything you experience and see.